Okay, good evening. It's almost 10 after 7. Welcome to the Town of Ayer Conservation Commission meeting for January 28, 2016. We're a little bit bare bones, as you can tell, and also had some technical, can we call them technical difficulties?
No, they were personal. It's okay.
Human operator error.
All the way across.
I think Mercury's in retrograde.
So I believe the agenda I have before me is the agenda that was officially posted. Okay.
Yeah.
So
some light, artistic editing.
we have a 7:15 hearing for the Willows, 7:30 certificate of compliance for Family Dollar, 7:35 enforcement order for 78 Sandy Pond Road, 7:40 another certificate of compliance for 23 Hemlock Way at Pingree Hill. Shortly after that, continuation of an RDA public meeting for the MBTA. 7:50
National
River Watershed Association presentation.
Yeah.
Regarding
the project where they want to do inventories of riparian areas and find places that might be best suited for their
right. And
restoration ideas.
potentially strengthening local bylaws and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
okay.
that too.
Okay.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Okay. 8 o'clock ZBA bylaw. 8:05 report from Geosyntec and updates for that. And then also one addition, I believe.
We could just, we don't have our first hearing until 7:15. We do have 5 minutes. We could just address Mr. Pattenton's concerns. I don't know that there's that much we can.
Okay. Mr. Pattenton, do you want to express your concerns? We have 5 minutes before our first hearing.
No pledge of allegiance. Do you want to confirm the agenda?
Unless there's anything else to add to the agenda.
Just this.
I'll accept the motion to accept the agenda with the addition of Mr. Pattenton.
So moved. Second.
Okay, my name is Michael Pattenton. I apologise for the sound. I don't have a cold. I have another problem. I live at 42 Westford Road, which is across Westford Road from Catania Spagna. Pronunciation may be wrong. A little while ago, they took down a large number of trees along Westford Road. 2 or 3 days ago, I noticed that there was a great quantity of new dirt along where the trees had been taken down. Took these photographs, and at that time, in my own opinion, that's all I have, it looked almost as though there was going to be a driveway. This is Demco Way along here, Westford Road would go down here. So you're looking, if you look this way, you're looking from Demco Way. And it looks almost as though they were building a driveway from Demco onto this new pile of dirt for whatever purpose. Does seem to have changed over the past 2 days. I did attend the selectmen's meeting, reference to trees, nothing much was said about them. I did not receive an abutter notice, maybe I didn't need one. I did get one for the rail works, which were the other side of the factory. Okay, so it really doesn't affect anybody on Westford Road in any sense. This does affect people on Westford Road. So I really stopped in tonight just to ask if the committee had had any discussions with Catania. I did see the agenda item, which says basically it's to do with the water flow from the corner of Mulberry and Westford, and that's on the town-owned lot adjacent to my property. It flows underneath the road, comes out on the Catania side, comes out through a concrete block and pipe, and then runs free down to the side of their parking lot. And quite obviously I don't know where it goes from there, but it runs down towards the soya foods. The work, they took the trees down and virtually clear cut it. Then the first thing I saw was a large quantity of sand, which is not what you would normally think of for landscaping, but still. That was levelled out, leading me to believe that they might be going to enlarge the parking area or some such thing. Leading me to believe, I had no other reason for thinking that. Then, adjacent to Westford Road, there was a very high pile of what looked like topsoil. And over basically some of yesterday and today, that topsoil seems to have been levelled out, put on top of the sand, and so now the whole place is relatively level with the driveway which runs along in front of the building, comes towards Westford Road, drops down approximately 15 feet from the edge of Westford Road. To the best of my knowledge at that point, Westford Road is a 50-foot right-of-way for the town. The actual road is 24 feet wide, divided equally, 12 feet each side. That means that where it drops off from Westwood Road down into the low original point would be town right away, and so far they have not intruded on that. So I don't have any real complaint except that I was not told what was going on. I have not been told. I've not asked at the factory. I have talked to the DPW manager. I have talked to the town administrator. I was expecting a reply back this afternoon, didn't get it so far. So really all I'm here at the moment is to ask whether you had any contact, whether you had any knowledge of what was going on. The answer is yes, you did. You apparently decided it was none of your, this is going to come out wrong, none of your business, but leave it the way it was. However, the original reason, the waterway, does not actually seem to figure into the work they've done, except they have not intruded on it. The pile of dirt comes down one side of it, is levelled off and comes down the other side. The water flows free down between the two. So there doesn't appear to be any piping or anything else involved at this time. So if you do know about it and decide it wasn't your business, then I guess it's sort of none of my business either. But just it is impacting my view, and I do believe that will impact the value of the house because it's now open to the area as opposed to excluded by trees, and also might make it more difficult to sell. So I have a personal interest.
Which you're entitled to have, but we obviously can't speak to any of those issues because none of those are within our jurisdiction. What I can tell you, Mr. Patton, and this is from our minutes of November 12th of 2015. Yeah, pretty much everything you said is correct as far as what was represented by their. They did have an application before us. It was a request for determination.
Right.
That does not require butter notifications. So that explains why you and your neighbors weren't notified, because it wasn't required. They discussed, they being Catania Spania and their representatives discussed improving the drainage channel as part of eventually extending to the existing culvert under Westford Road. I won't give you all the details, but the commission's opinion that at the time was that the area was not jurisdictional, and therefore they could do the work as they presented. And it sounds like, based on what you described, they're doing what they said they would do. So that's basically all we can tell you. And beyond that, it's.
Do you remember anything from that, Brian? Because you visited it.
Right. The detail of the land or the detail of the meeting?
The land.
Yeah, I mean, so the reason it wasn't jurisdictional is that essentially after the pipe comes out on the other side of the road, it's essentially a drainage ditch. You know, it's not necessarily a stream. It's not really an ecological feature. It just happens to be the drain that crosses across the land on it, above. And so If the pond below the factory there has any impacts from this work, then we would become involved potentially. But at this point, from the perspective of the jurisdiction of the law, it just, it didn't meet criteria. So they did come and they have a chat and they did double check to make sure, and we did go out and have a look, and then we did have a discussion, and by we, I mean I went out and had a look and I reported back to these guys and they had their say, and we had a long discussion, and a couple of outlier potential issues were raised, and everybody was fairly comfortable with just letting them do what they wanted to do without our involvement.
Okay. But none of the work that I see having been done so far, to me, has any impact on the drainage ditch. It's all clear of the drainage ditch.
I think they were planning on putting that underground, weren't they?
Something, but the thing is, they came before us to just check on the jurisdictionality of the drainage ditch itself,
Right.
and it's not jurisdictional. Work they do outside of the drainage ditch is also then not jurisdictional.
Okay.
So their concern with us was how their work would potentially affect it, and if that was going to be an issue. So we really don't have any.
So if they simply filled the ditch in, that would be your concern.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
not
they're not.
proposed. So.
Well, and I suppose even technically, them filling in the ditch, we wouldn't care about, but the washout from them filling the ditch, we would care
If it
about.
then had an impact
Yeah.
on runoff, then we would care, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, it's partly out of ignorance because I didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
I could see what was happening, but I didn't know the
Yeah.
background to it or anything like that. So, if you'd like to keep those, you're welcome. If not, I will take them back. So,
Oh, of course, yeah.
yeah.
We could have those back too.
Okay, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
very much.
Okay, thank you.
Minutes.
Coming in. Okay, we will, this is a continuation, right?
Yeah.
We will reopen our hearing for DEP number 100-0387 for the Willows.
It's a bad week.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgot everything. You forgetting one more thing just falls right in line.
Which program? Oh, well, if you want to use, this is the only one I brought.
Is it the recent PDF?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Okay, yeah, this is the smaller
This,
version.
yeah, this is the right one. Oh, I can leave this one for you, and just a little bit marked up.
That's fine, yeah.
If for the record, if everything get close, that's it. I can take this down. I'm sorry, I put together,
But it would have just essentially been a copy of this, right?
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I emailed it out the same time. Okay, just to follow up with the last hearing, and so it's basically to one issue is the mitigation area, and so we concur with, after we review all the historic documents and the situation, even though there's some varieties in the regulation, so as far as solution-wise, so, but we took the most conservative one and the consistent with the original order of conditions. So you can see that dark hedged and then gray area. So we expanded to make the mitigation area 3 times of the mitigation area we are going to use for the relocation. So which was 4,408, and we provided 13,230. There's 6 square foot more than the 3 times of it. So it's just sort of, and the specifications and everything else is kept as original. We didn't change anything. So in that case, we meet most strict criteria of the 310 CMR 1058 5G. If we provide 2-to-1 mitigation area, so it's not, so we prevent not doing it. And so we give back for the compensation from what the father's comment, and that's the last hearings discussion. So I think, I hope we covered every point and ground at a very real lengthy research into the historic document. So I hope we can wrap it up and let's everybody can move on to do some more productive things. I don't know if we have the quorum today.
3 out of 5.
We'll do it for quorum. So,
Can
do
I
you have any
ask one
comments?
question on just votes? If our total commission is 5, a quorum is 3, if there are only 3 of us here, what's a passing vote? 2 out of 3, or do we still need 3?
2 out of 3,
2 out of 3. Okay.
in my opinion.
Quorum is 3 and passing.
And then a majority of the members present for.
Okay.
Now, we're not at the stage where we would be
No.
signing an order of conditions or anything like that, but I believe for an order of conditions, you need to have a majority signing a quorum, I'm sorry, a quorum signing the paperwork, a full quorum. And
Yeah, so you'd have to go 3 for 3 for the.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But we're not there yet, so.
Yeah.
Comments?
Well, I'll pass until anybody else have any other comments or questions.
Brian? Do you have any?
No, I've learned everything there is to learn about this project, and I'm very happy to move on.
So I apologize, I didn't have a chance to open up the right one. Does it include any, okay, I'm answering my question as I look at the print. So you do have the planting specifications, that these would apply to those areas? Okay. Brian, have you had a chance to look at?
Yeah, I went bushwhacking just a little bit, and I mean, the only concern I would have that I don't know that it's necessarily, the appropriate time to bring it up, but I'd like to see some work get started.
Because of
In
the
terms
time of the year?
Well, no, just because of there's only so many condos left to build, and it'd be nice to see the process get rolling. It'd be a nice sort of.
Early spring, right now it's probably not the time.
Now's a really good time for weed basis work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
clearing the area, now's a good time.
You can clear, the best time actually, I learned from the control, it's the best time is late fall, when the trees or the leaves, kind of extracting back. If you cut the stems, you brush it off.
Right.
Okay, well, so you do plan on cutting and painting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
probably, it's in the riverfront area, definitely I
Mhm.
will not recommend to get a big machine there,
Right.
taking it out and cause more problem than good, do anything good. But we cut on the ground, brush it out, that's the one you can really kill it. Because for invasive, even you dig, after digging, even you leave something there, they're coming back.
What are the,
When you have the Roundup, like 15%, kind of, we don't dilute it, so you cut it. We did, in the past 5 years, we did 5 acres of it. It works very well, I go back, check it. That's the only way we really can kill that.
Yeah.
You kill their roots.
Yeah, and you're talking about like nowadays we're getting into where the sap is rising. So
Right,
yeah.
actually they reject it. It's almost like, I don't know, when
So how would you propose clearing it? You're saying better to clear it in late fall,
yeah.
and then what's the method?
You just cut to the roots
Mhm.
and then brush it on with
Herbicide.
the Roundup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
now,
Oh.
sorry, what are the species, the primary species that are out there, the invasives?
The invasive is the majority is the ocean olive and then Russian olive, and then I also see the honeysuckles.
Okay.
And so more over here, that's the Paparoos tribes. But that one is probably
another story.
Yeah, that's another story. You have to probably use
If,
beetles.
yeah, I don't know,
I don't think it's
don't want to be too prescriptive, but I would leave the purple loosestrife.
Yeah, just leave the
alone.
beetles. The beetles probably
They'll find it.
Yeah, if
they'll
the
find
state released enough, they couldn't find any, they would keep trying to find it.
Who's gonna do the clearing, mitigation, restoration, whichever? Are you guys gonna do that yourselves? Are you gonna contract out, or?
Well, you're one of our contractors, right?
Yeah, the contractor. The problem is you get conditioned to be monitored and so for 2 years to get controlled. That's it normally, like for just like in any replication area. I know there was some in the orders, people may have concerns, so after this restoration is done, since it's in the riverfront area, nobody's supposed to go there to maintain anything like in landscape. That shouldn't be any concern. The only thing left, if I can see, is that outflow structure, because I think there was some deep beavers there trying to block it. That's the only thing. Right now, the water quality, it's already, as you see, so when this thing is all stabilized, this will be no more concern, will be, so go back to natural from touching it. So that's one of things can do is probably just testing the water whenever get into the certificate compliance. So since we are going to monitor this, all the controls, and it's going to take in some water quality data to go with in the report. Then everybody have a record on it. You know, here used to be the turbidity was 1,000. And so right now, like that, from what I see, should be less than 10, or around 10. And it would probably getting better. Yeah.
Anyway, so basically all my comments are just getting ahead of the game a little bit and be talking about how the orders are carried out and the restoration work.
Right.
But that's getting ahead of the
Right.
process.
And this is an amendment. This would be an amendment, correct? To the,
No, this is new notice of intent.
And this is, okay.
Yeah, because of the objections or the
Right,
people.
okay. Just to make sure.
We went so many rounds, so there will be a new order of conditions for this month.
Okay. Comments, questions from the audience?
Question for Brian. Did my email get entered into the record?
No.
It was done after the 22nd?
No, I forwarded your email,
Yeah.
so I did that. So theoretically, if you guys have seen your email lately, you saw what he's talking about. But the human error we were talking about lately, all of the records and all of the materials that would have been brought down are locked in the office right now.
But I have a whole bunch right here. for you
Yeah,
to-
Jess is saving me here a little bit.
Okay.
But your email was January 21st.
22nd. I have copies.
Yeah. But there's no way it could have been entered into any record.
Right.
Oh, fair point.
I have copies. I'd like to just make sure it does get entered before you close the hearing.
Do you want to just read
Whether
it?
you review it tonight or not doesn't matter to me. But I do want to just make sure that the commission does have it as formally submitted.
Would you be better off just reading it and then it's on the,
Yeah.
we get the audio, so to speak?
You want me to read it out loud,
I've
or you
already
have
got
that?
one.
Okay.
Well, you don't necessarily need to read it verbatim, but just to run through your points.
Mhm.
Or just enter it so that it's part of your review. If you're going to close the hearing tonight, I would like to just make sure this is in on the record. And then you can
Well, the way to
review
get it on the record is to have it read into the record, so.
Right.
Okay.
I would like.
Okay. This is an email from Duncan Brown from the Willows. It was addressed to Brian and the commission. Thank you for the documents. My review of the missing documents in the December 10th, 2015 letter from Deshang Wang reveals, 1, the tree lines in the aerial photo at the 200 foot from the edge of the brook actually show that the area in the proposed location was, in fact, undisturbed large caliper trees. Note the new growth trees by the lighter green color. The area where units 95, 96, and 97 and proposed mitigation are shown as old growth trees on the older aerial photo. During the construction of 95, 96, and 97, large trees were removed and stumps taken out of the building footprint and mitigation area and topsoil, and stones were piled up on the location and had to be removed to construct the building. The pictures from 2011 show piles of stones, piles of topsoil, and piles of stumps, all taken out of the footprint of the 95, 96, and 97 footprint of 95, 96, and 97. Also, there was a huge pile of topsoil on the lower circle, which had to be moved again further towards the pond to construct 32, 33, and 34. And the pile had to be moved again to construct the subsequent triple units, 35, 36, 37, and 38, 39, 40, which back up to the pond and face the lower circle. 2, the test pits reveal the soils in the current proposed area are no different than the soils where the triple unit 56 through 58 building is being moved from. So there is no construction cost savings in moving foundations. I question the big jump in foundation costs for the units after the idea to move units 56 and 58 down the hill. Are there other factors in those costs? Did the excavator increase his price for the foundations? Did the builder change the gravel and stone suppliers, which added to the cost? Are the units being placed on areas where poor soil was stored during the construction of some of the units across the street? Also, the builder is recouping his costs by increasing the price of the units being sold, cost jumping from $290,000 to $340,000, so he can spend more for the foundations in the last lots to be built upon. In the item 3, the 9,550 square feet of disturbed riverfront was to be mitigated by 15,690 square feet in those documents. That mitigation has not happened yet and affects the mitigation calculations for the current proposal. 4, a look at the cost per unit for the 3-unit buildings has varied from a low of $145,000 to a high of $180,000. The 3-unit building being used as an example of excessive cost was $177,000, not the highest cost. There is no reason to believe that the builder will be able to save costs by moving units 56 to 58 to the bottom of the hill. In fact, the 3 units at the bottom of the hill cost per unit $181,000, or more than the example units being moved because of poor soil. Finally, the Willows Condominium Association does not want a structure located within the 200-foot riverfront protection area. We don't want to have to maintain the grounds, decks, porches, patios, and outside sidings and roofing of the building under the restrictions of the Riverfront Protection Act. We do not want to maintain 6,000 square feet of mitigation vegetation on the site caused by intrusion into the 200-foot riverfront protection area. And we do not desire to be under a permanent conservation order of conditions with many special conditions, 64 on the last one, as to what we can not use for lawn maintenance and road maintenance materials and how we can maintain the outside of the building. What bothers us is the builder thinks he is trying to save a few bucks and then will disappear from the site and leave the association with all the future maintenance expenses associated with having a building in a protected and restricted location on the site. And also what bothers us is the builder is still a trustee of the association by default until he finishes the project and is supposed to have the association's interests at heart. It does not appear to us that this is the case. We respectfully request that the Air Conservation Commission deny the application for the builder to construct units 56 and 58 in the 200-foot riverfront protection area of Miller's Brook. We, as not meeting the criteria under 310 CMR 10.58, promulgated 21 years ago in 1995. Duncan M. Brown, PE President, the Willows Condominium Association, EMS. Okay, thank you.
We ask some questions.
Please.
When you're on your first point, the tree lines being different, what photos are you referencing?
I included those in the email. I think I have copies here.
Oh,
And this is what Shane presented. This was his latest letter, December 10th. And in the back of it, he shows as examples of disturbed area, the open area, which was December 2000. And then this one is the one that I just Googled, and this is also in the email, so I can send this again. But I only have the one copy, but it shows if you look at the area that was disturbed in brown on this picture, and it comes down and it picks up. If you look at the lighter green, this is where it's already had second growth back into that area. And you can see where the hook is, and what I talked about in that was that in order to build this building, which shows on the most recent one, that they actually had to clear this woods out of here from right where this hook comes up to here, which is this hook right here. These are original trees that are shown in the lighter color because they've filled in since 2000. This was 2000, this is 2015, and this is where the new growth has been. So this is what I was referring to in that paragraph, is in order to build that building in the 200-foot portion of it, in the 200-foot, they had to take down all of these mature trees right in here, which is this grouping right in here. So the premise back at that time in 2005 to 2007 was that the area had already been cleared, and it had not. This is the area that they cleared to build this building. So I was pointing that out because one of the things that he does talk about here is that the original approvals were because the area had been disturbed, and it had not. So that's the point of the first paragraph. And once, I can resend those if you didn't get them.
Yeah, in short, I would address that issue. So actually, with the mitigation area, so this area don't really have to be a mitigation area or disturbed area. So sort of okay, to understand by the law. And that we have already listed the site when we were there, staked it out, the whole commission. I think either only one or two trees have to, partially to that with all the wires on it. So it's not just by looking at the tree line, it's looked in the ground. Even last year when the commission reviewed and approved it, it's not really just by looking at the tree line we'll find out anything.
So do any new trees have to come down?
No.
Okay. No new trees.
Yeah, we are not expanding. Actually, we are cutting back to the only 100-foot line. If you see the original approved mitigation area went all the way back. So it's just the historic information. We are not expanding it beyond that. So it's clearly shown in the plan as well.
That's correct. It was, you don't have to for this, but it was expanded in 2011. And then the question do any new trees have to come down? The answer is yes. That whole area that they're now showing as new proposed mitigation area is all of this. So all of those trees now have to come down in order to make that mitigation area.
Where? So here? Over here?
Yeah.
Why you need to cut all the trees now?
Because that's where they have right now.
No,
That's an
that's,
area.
that's only for invasive species we cut. If it's a native trees, all the things we'll leave it alone. Why we need to cut everything down? No, nobody say we cut everything down. That's what we're trying to selectively control the invasive species.
How are you going to do your mitigation plan with the maples and the oaks and all of that?
But you still have to have to cut the invasive species. The dominant, you look in all the green, but the dominated by invasive species, you cannot tell what they are. You just see the green. So
These are all 20-foot trees. Second growth,
No,
second growth trees.
Yeah, that's not what we saw
I
there.
don't, did you folks walk across on the brook side of the pond? Did you walk around to that
Did.
side where
Yeah.
this was?
Yeah.
And what was that? Was that wooded?
It was mostly invasive, as Sheng has said.
So the point maybe to think is that just because it's a tree doesn't mean we want it. Like there are lots of really big trees that are actually ecological detriments. You know, like one of the dominants there, the autumn olive, if you notice, like in the morning light or in the evening light, there's a tree with a little bit of a shine to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like kind of a silver, and it's actually really beautiful. The berries also have kind of flecks of silver in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually something that you'd be better off having like salted earth as opposed to having that tree there. It's a bad thing to have.
Which tree are you talking about?
It's the autumn olive, the one with the
Okay.
silver. You know, it's just an easy
Yep.
one for eye catching, and they get fairly big,
Mhm.
and they're really, really detrimental, problematic. They are real anchors on ecology. So,
Mhm.
you know, I take your point that you don't want to cut down important trees, but many of the trees there that, you know, we're trying to cut down actually it's going to be better off for the world and the river and the environment if they're not there than if we leave them. And even if they are really big.
Mhm.
So,
I have a question to your last point in terms of the current list of the condo association members and the list of members who are opposed to this.
No, we don't. We haven't taken a poll of them
Okay,
at this point.
okay, just curious.
So, to try and move this along a little bit. So you raised a lot of questions. I think the first point, unless you're talking about an area that was outside of their approved limit of work, then that's kind of a moot point in my opinion. But you raised a lot of the questions about the cost saving, or as you suggest, not cost saving. George, is this something that you feel like you want the opportunity to respond to? Have you seen?
I haven't seen that
Okay.
email.
We certainly can't answer these questions because they're all about.
Right, but the one thing I did notice is that the test holes about the two different areas, it's where the original plan is and the new plan. I'm not sure where you're getting information where the material is the same.
The test holes that they cited, Chang cited in the found report. The found report, which was done in 2005,
yeah.
shows a series of test holes. And they dug down, and the purpose of the test pits at that point was to show that there was no topsoil in that area, that it had been undisturbed. And they were all taken within the disturbed area that he showed on this, the 2000. But those show the exact same silty soils that are up on the hill. And the analysis of them are the same soils that are up on the hill. So my point there is that if it's the same soil on the top of the hill and the same soil down where this is, there's no savings in foundation.
Well,
Ms. Brown, actually, we discussed all these issues. So the soils, when you disturb it, when you lift it like in contact, you can just like in Boston blue clay, and so as an engineer, you know, if you like loosen it out, their bearing capacity and the structure properties are totally different. Okay, so those are the things we can't judge it. So obviously the engineer and even prior to me, I was not the one to even to judging it. So those are all documented, and I don't see why, if those things are all the same, why they spent. This can be audited. The data we provided is from the construction cost. It's not something we are imaginally provided. So the one in my report, the whole subdivision, we went through whole subdivision, each lot by each lot, and so matching the soils condition. So that's not anything. That one is different. Those are just for the riverfront area disturbance purpose. It's not for the structure purpose. So when we are referring to that, that's not supposed to be used from the structure perspective. If just by looking at the color of them, the same, yeah, they're disturbed. But you cannot looking at the color, as you know, to judging the structural bearing capacity or suitability for constructing or put a foundation in. So that's totally, as an engineer, you already know it. You have to go to the field, really do compaction or bearing capacity or, to penetration kind of testing. So quoting using that, just looking at it is inappropriate from engineering practice, in my view. So, and in short, I feel all those issues we pretty much covered. As far as the cost is not a major issue over here, even though if we just argue for it, it will never end. The one is when people proposing to do the work, whether they meet the law requirements. So we have really gone through in a very thorough way and be consistent with the Commission's approval in the past. And the square footage we're providing, it's exceeded the required square footage. And as far as the maintenance, as I just explained, excuse me, I don't see any difference maintaining the building in the lower section will be different from the up over there. And I believe the order of conditions later on we revised it. You don't have, so in a way, even we don't put the building there, so we still discourage people using any pesticides or things that will ruin the environment. So it's not like you're using this one as a reason to say, I want to dump in anything not good for the environment because you guys did this one, so I cannot arbitrarily doing my long maintenance, I dumping poisons in my backyard. Is that something, I mean, if I read it right, so if you're so supposed to be conscious and the environment is sensitive, that's all your purpose. We were here trying to argue. And then the same way you argue, say, well, because you put this there are some kind of environmental sensitive conditions I don't want to obey because I don't want to do that. So it's slightly contradictory from your principle. So to apply here, and I don't see anything, the trash and the deck or the maintenance will require any permitting because as long as you stay within the limit of prove the work, landscaping, proper landscaping and deck, and even replace your siding or roof is exempted. It's not going to, you don't require any extra cost for doing that. So there's no standing on those points. So in a way, in short, I really, but you can enter this one into the record, but so the commission knows and so they all know the law, what apply, what doesn't apply to the project. So as far as I know, so I think if the commission needed some time to consider it, I mean, so the email is here, you can read it, and but I really feel I would like to request the commission close the hearing and then you can elaborate your conditions. I really feel it's already dragging our feet too long it's time to move on unless you feel any technical issues we can address and it's inadequate. So
You have one hand up in the back.
Opportunity to speak, please.
Yes.
My name is Mark Concola. I'm the treasurer and vice president of the Willows Condominium Association. My primary interest and concern does revolve around the possibility of the condominium association incurring incremental costs in the future. Duncan has outlined some concerns that he has to that effect. They're being refuted by DeShane. And is the commission in a position to help arbitrate and help me understand whether in fact there are any, because of the change, which is saving Habitat money presumably, whether or not there are any incremental maintenance or cost burden that the Willows Association will incur as a result of this. So,
could I ask DeShane a question? Dr. Wang. Would there be any different maintenance costs for the new building?
I don't think
compared to maintenance costs for the building right next to it, 95 to 97, which is also in the riverfront area. So it would seem to me a portion of, but it would seem that
it's a similar. So
Yeah.
in a similar setting and in a similar elevation. So from the structure wise, obviously no matter where, they're the same. So in a way, from the siding, roofing, all that things, the only thing is ground maintenance. So the backyard, as I pointed out, you cannot go beyond the approved. So if you are within it, just for lawn and landscape maintenance, I don't see any.
Will we have an
difference.
obligation to maintain the mitigation areas?
No, the mitigation actually after
I'm
that,
not asking
you are
sir.
not
asking the
supposed.
I'm
Sorry.
asking the
No,
conservation.
we are designing for it because as a design for the mitigation from the wetland scientist perspective, those are resource area considered. Whenever they restore it, you're not supposed to touch it anymore, to disturb it.
I think as when it converts over to you, right, once the contractor leaves, I'm assuming that you have authority to do what you choose to do within the legal, the legal
Right.
boundaries, right?
I guess that's my question, is
Right.
are there obligations that the Conservation Commission is going to impose on the way, what we choose to do there? That could incur incremental, like if the trees die, do we need to replace them? Is there any ongoing maintenance obligation that we will inherit that is because they are mitigation areas?
I think that the only one really you're gonna have might be more of a moral or an ethical one rather than because what's gonna happen here is that the invasives are gonna come back.
Right.
And so no matter how well the job is done, in the long run, you can expect the weedy, negative species to recolonize and take back over. And so you might want to consider every 5 years going in there and maintaining the work that has been done. Otherwise, if you do happen to have like a really lovely oak that grows up, a really lovely maple that people, really like to have, the thing will be crowded out and will be killed by the invasives coming in. So that would be your choice to do that in the long run. But it's not going to be something that in the order of conditions, we're going to write in and say, you have to do this forever. Because
I thought that was the case, though. I think it was in the one that you drafted before, that was approved and it was appealed to DEP and overturned. I believe that we're supposed to maintain the mitigation areas forever. And
I don't believe
it was
that's
in
the
that as one of the 64 items. The other item it was that you were going to prohibit use of salt on the road in that area.
Right.
And you extended it to any area within 100 feet of wetlands or the brook,
That's a standard condition.
which affects both entrances that we have, because there's wetlands at the bottom of the north entrance and the brook is on the south side. So we would have had to go to calcium chloride or some other thing as.
You would have to do that regardless. I mean, those are standard conditions, so any project
We don't-
within
Right.
our jurisdiction would most likely have those conditions.
Excuse me, I think
No,
we
it
changed
doesn't.
it. We changed it already.
No,
Looking at.
it was still in there, and that one.
No, the
In-
final
so
revision changed it.
In the amendment, we did have, I believe we discussed those when we issued the amendment, and you might be right, I think we did
We changed
perhaps
it.
make some changes to
No,
sort of
because we
update it.
test the water, there's no impact, so therefore we can continue to use the regular salt.
But as you know, you appealed the amendment, so.
Right, we appeal it. And in the newer condition, they have their right to do whatever.
Okay,
Right
and
now,
then-
they have to do it.
and
But
then
that's
the-
only applying to this condominium. So,
Okay, and then the third thing is the interpretation of the work within the 200-foot riverfront protection area. And if we have to go back in and tear off 3 decks on the back of that because they rotted out, are you saying that we would not have to come back to conservation and get an order of conditions to do that within the 200-foot riverfront protection area?
that's correct. If you are
No,
maintaining the footprint, okay, if you are maintaining the footprint, go read the section, so you can see CMR 1002. Okay, there's exemptions for some minor activities. You don't have to, okay? So therefore, so that's why I pointed out there's no extra cost and the.
So I mean, is the commission going to address these questions, or are we relying on his opinion?
We're addressing some of them now, some of them we we can't answer because we're not the ones building them. Some of the maintenance issues, I think we're working through those.
The last point that Duncan just made about if we needed to repair decks.
So again, generally speaking, this applies to any project within our jurisdiction. Any new work potentially could require you to come back to the commission to get a determination as to whether you need to continue on the process of getting a permit or not. But again, that's a standard procedure for anything, so.
Okay, so we would be required to come back if there was structural
Possibly.
changes to the building.
If you're doing, I think, my understanding is if you're doing structural work like replacing wood and stuff, but you're not digging into the ground, changing the footprint or anything like that, you would not need to come before us. But if you're doing anything that involves land disturbance in the process, as applies to anybody within buffer zones, then you would. It doesn't matter whether it's in the order of conditions here or not. It's just, I mean, I am on the commission. I had to file a notice of intent to do work in my house.
May I request that you check that with the circuit rider? You mentioned that you were going to rely on a circuit rider at DEP, and those are the questions that they need to answer for you because their interpretation is different than yours at this point on work being done within a 200-foot riverfront protection area in the future. Well,
that hasn't ever come up, so I don't know how you can say that.
No, Jess's interpretation was pretty good. We don't need to clarify that. That's the basis of the whole thing.
And you're speaking hypothetically, so it's a little difficult.
So if the footings need to be replaced on the deck, we would have to come back.
If you stick a shovel in the ground, you need to come see us, basically.
But if it's a simple footing replacement, that would probably be an RDA, not a notice of intent. And basically that applies to every resident who lives within buffer zone.
If you tore the whole building down and stacked everything in the road, nobody necessarily would care. We might come over and say, hey, what are you doing? And you say, hey, we're tearing the house down to the footings and we're putting it in the road and then we're going to build it back up from the footings and we're never going to touch the ground, move a blade of grass, or bend a tree.
All right. It seems as though we're just getting a special needs child on one building within the whole area that I think is going to be a problem in the future as to how we handle those, and it's going to cost us extra bucks because we're going to have to keep coming back, and we're going to have to, anything we do, if we want to change the driveway paving, what's that? Okay. If we have to repave the driveways, we got to come back. If we have to do the porches on the outside and tear it down, we have to come back. It's a needy child. Believe me, it is a needy child as soon as we put it within the 200 foot.
Yeah.
So that's my last point.
And I'm not seeing anything in here about the mitigation upkeep. Bonnie's got a copy of the conditions here. The closest thing there is vegetative cover shall be maintained on site to ensure the proper functioning of the drainage system. So
again, it's a standard condition.
Yeah.
Is that the one from from before, the 64 item?
This is from 100-288, condition 64.
There's 64?
Yeah, and it's just for the drainage system.
So if you're saying it would only be a moral obligation, that's good.
Well, it depends. How are your morals? So,
no other comments? I'm entertaining. Jesse, you have something?
I mean, my spiel would be basically, if we approve this, it's going to get appealed by you. If we don't approve it, it's going to get appealed by you guys. If we approve it, gets appealed, and the state issues a superseding order, correct me if I'm wrong, and overturn, if we turn it down, the state issues a superseding order, correct me if I'm wrong, but then we're sort of out of the picture in terms of monitoring. And one of the values of us having been in the picture all these years was the turbidity on that pond area has been cleaned up because we have issued multiple enforcement orders in the past, brought the state in, and finally had changes made. If a superseding order is issued by the state and we don't have oversight anymore, then we can't observe and monitor to the degree that we have been. So in a certain sense, the state's going to be reviewing this one way or the other. Would that be correct? So the state's going to be reviewing this. On the one hand, if we approve it and the state supports it, then we're fine, we keep monitoring. If we approve it, the state turns it down, issues a superseding order in support of some sort, either they block it or it goes through with different conditions, but then we don't have the oversight. So that would be some of my reasoning. What do you think, Takashi?
I agree, and I mean, we would take that up at our next hearing when we discuss the draft order conditions, but I'm going to ask for a motion to close. My only hesitation in doing that is that because George and Phil were not here, we're not necessarily cutting them out of the loop, but it'll be incumbent upon them and upon you as clerk to get the minutes for this meeting ready so that they can review them and then be able to sort of fully participate in the decision, which would be at our next meeting. So
you don't want to vote today?
What's that?
You don't want to make a final decision today? You want to wait until?
Well, if this is a new notice of intent, what we would do is we would
Yeah.
close the public hearing, then at our next meeting, we would discuss the order conditions, and at that point, that's when we would make our issue the decision. I just want to make sure we're not cutting George and Bill out of that process.
So that, we're fine with that, for that, so we're fine for that purpose. So if you want to extend it to the next hearing.
My personal feeling is that
It's better.
I would personally want to continue just so that George and Bill, so we have a possibility for the full board to.
Yeah, but that's perfectly fine.
So if you're amenable to that, I guess I will rescind my asking for a motion to close and ask for a motion to continue to our next. What's the date?
The 10th of February, is that right? It's on the bottom of the agenda outside.
No, not the one that we have. I think it's the 11th, but I could be wrong.
It's the 10th or the 11th. The 11th?
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to continue this public hearing until February 11th.
Should, yeah, okay. And after that, then depending on how we vote, Brian would or would not move forward with preparing an order of conditions. Okay. Oh, so,
What? Second?
No,
Second that?
well, I need a motion.
A motion,
So-
I motion, so moved.
Second.
Who said, I thought
Legal
she said so
language
moved.
darts. It's like, I second, so moved.
Thank you very much.
I agree.
Thank you.
No, I can't remember which comes first.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the request for certificate of compliance, 19 Pittsburgh Road, Family Dollar,
Yep.
key number 100-0380.
So Bill asked me to go out and have a look, and I did, and it looks fine according to the plan. I'd be passing around the paperwork now if it wasn't locked away. One detail worth asking, they do have a trash problem right up against the isolated wetland next to the property.
Okay.
And
If you're looking at the properties,
if you drive into Family Dollar, they've got their dumpsters straight perpendicular from the road, and the wetland is still flagged next to the dumpsters.
Okay.
And there are like 55-gallon plastic drums that probably had like cooking grease or something crazy in them. They didn't look industrial, they were just really big.
Okay.
And they are kind of fallen off of the paved area and into the woods. And, you know, the question would simply be if you wanted to tie that into the certificate of compliance, or if you wanted to have that as a separate process. Because, you know, trash has nothing to do with the orders of conditions necessarily.
Is there a special condition in the order that talks about?
Not at first glance. If I read it really close, I might find something, but not at first glance.
Okay, if you can take a look, it would probably be towards the end, in one of the
Yeah.
last special conditions.
I could double check that if I hadn't looked
Okay.
myself.
Well, I guess it's a moot point anyway, since we don't have
Yeah.
any, so,
So anyway, just the question to raise is whether or not you would want to pursue that together or separate. And if it turns out that it's a COC issue, great, we can tie it in. Or sorry, an OC issue,
Right.
we can tie it in. And if it's not,
then we can take it up separately.
we'll take it up separately.
Issue the COC and take it up separately, we
Yeah.
do that as well.
Okay.
All right, next item, the enforcement order for 78 Standing Pond Road,
Mm-hmm.
100-0386.
And that was the only piece of paperwork that I had for you. They're not going to be here. Rob.
Are you,
Oh, no.
are you here for that?
I'm sorry, I was here for the Family Dollar.
Oh.
I couldn't hear very well over that.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
I didn't expect to see it, so I just jumped right in.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks fine. You just got a trash problem.
And what's your name?
My name is Steve.
Steve Dumont?
D-U-M-O-N-T.
Okay.
And apologies, Steve, you probably missed this, but we had some human error issues where I locked all my paperwork in the office. So,
So as far as the trash issue, I mean, all the site was, cleaned up before it was taken over by the tenant. So
right.
I just couldn't hear it well. You're considering that as a separate issue, correct?
Most likely, it depends. In some cases, we'll have a special condition in the order of conditions that says something to the effect that the, site will be kept clean, trash and stuff will not be, will be removed or, handled appropriately. And I don't know specifically
Yeah,
what
it
the
looks
issue
like
is,
it's
but
trash from the business. It doesn't look like it's leftover construction trash.
Right.
But that becomes one of those little turns of phrase that, one way or the other, it needs to be brought up and dealt with because it's, going to wash into that little tiny wetland up there. But it's all kind of moot at this point because we couldn't sign the paperwork anyway because I didn't bring the key.
So could you say, are there any intentions to clean that up or deal with that?
I mean, it really has nothing to do with me because it's the tenant Family Dollar utilizing the property.
And you are, who are, so what is your capacity here? Who are you representing?
I represent, I'm from TP Construction, we built the project,
Okay.
but I also am here on behalf of the owner of the property.
Hunt Real Estate? Okay.
I don't suppose you happen to have an order, the order of conditions in the. We'll check some of them.
Is your last name D-U-M-O-N-D? D as in dog?
Dumont,
Dumont.
D-U-M-O-N-T. Any relation to Linda Dumont?
My
Sorry,
grandfather-
D-U-M-O-N-T.
T as in T or?
Dumont, D-U-M-O-N-T, as in
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
tiger.
T as in tiger, not D as in dog. Right,
My
got it.
grandfather had 20 siblings. So,
Wow.
maybe.
Is he from Maine? Are you
From the same woman?
Over a period of time.
Wow,
Wow.
wow.
A long period of time.
yeah, I should hope so.
They started young.
Wow.
French families.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Takashi, I don't see anything in here that would tie in that way.
Okay. So most likely what will happen at our next meeting, if Brian is able to have the key with him, we'll be able to agree to issue the certificate and sign it at that time and then have it.
My only issue is I had a timeline to get everything taken care of with the owner on my end. Is there no possible way to?
If you got onto a website that you could run the paperwork into the local printer, yeah, no, I just had a human error kind of day across all fronts.
Yeah.
So this is just, yeah.
The thing is, it needs our signatures, so
And
we don't meet until the 11th.
What is your timeline, your deadline?
I didn't get it to him this following.
Is it something we could vote on and then come in and sign on?
Yeah, we can vote on
Tuesday?
it, we just don't have anything to sign. I mean,
But could
That's
our
fine.
signatures follow during the week?
I guess conceivably. It has to be, it has to be recorded, correct?
You guys, who records it?
Registry of Deeds.
Whoever we issue it to, it's incumbent on you to have it recorded. That's how you get it off of the real estate title, is by recording it against the current order of conditions, which has been recorded. So I don't know how that fits in with your time schedule, but just keep that in mind.
We sign it, we give you a piece of paper, and then either through scanning it or whatever, going down in person, somebody has to go contact the Registry of Deeds and give it to them, get it to them, and then they take it off, and then you give us proof of that. But
yeah, the point that I'm responsible for, that is your problem, which I apologize for, is not bringing the keys tonight and locking the needed paperwork upstairs with no obvious means of printing off another one for these guys to sign. Because unless, can you do that vote and so you don't have to necessarily sign it here?
Yeah, we can vote to approve it, and then it's just a matter of getting the
Yeah.
signatures as soon as we can get that. So I'll accept a motion to approve the issuance of the certificate of compliance for Family Dollar.
so moved.
Second.
Any other
Nope.
discussion?
And then if we continue to have a problem with the trash issue, we would issue a violation notice to the tenant.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to take it up with the tenant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is all in favor of approving the issuance of the COC?
Aye.
Aye.
So, I'm sorry, what would be the next steps for me? Just to wait for Brian to send me the certificate?
Yeah, as soon as you get the paperwork with our signatures, you would then have to record that original signed document at the Registry of Deeds. And once that happens, that's how you officially clear the real estate title. We would need to receive a proof of recording, which basically you would need to inform us of the book and page number and the date of the recording at the Registry of Deeds.
So just get that information from them and send it to Brian?
Yeah, the way they do it is you give them the paperwork, they stamp it as having been received, and they give you back the copy, and then you give us that copy with their, it's like they notarize it, their seal.
And then they put the book and the page number it's
Yeah.
going to be.
So one last question. So did you say this is something you would be able to get signed off this morning?
When can you have the signature page?
Next
Tuesday.
time I'm in the office is Tuesday, but theoretically, I could, call in tomorrow and have one sitting down here at the clerk's office and just say, hey, Concom will be coming in to sign off, and,
Probably makes sense more just to do that Tuesday, because tomorrow town hall closes at 1, and you guys wouldn't make it for sure.
Actually, I'm here tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
The only reason to do that would just be to make
Yeah.
it as open
Right.
and as available as possible,
Right.
as quickly as possible.
I wouldn't be able to do it Tuesday. I could do it tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'll have it up front here, Mary.
At the town clerk's office?
The town
Yeah,
clerk?
that work for you
Okay.
guys?
Yep.
Cheers. Thanks for picking up my slack.
Thank you very much.
So at some point next week, hopefully you'll be able to have that with all the signatures that are required.
So I should just be flying call maybe or something.
Yeah, I'm in Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and from the sound of things, by the time I come in on Tuesday, it ought to be chock full of signatures.
So you can sign it tomorrow?
Or Monday or Tuesday
You'd have to come in before
for one
Come in the
tomorrow.
morning.
What
Yeah.
day is the town hall
AM.
open late? Is that
Tuesday.
Tuesday is the day that, for sure. Possibly before then, but
Yeah.
for sure on Tuesday.
Okay, so if you have it tomorrow,
Yeah, I'll call
Early.
in to Alicia maybe and just,
yeah.
like, hi Alicia, miss me? Please do me a favor.
Do you have it ready by like a little before 10? Like 9:30, 10?
I don't know what
Is
time Alicia
Alicia-
comes in
No,
on
is
Friday,
Is
but
that too early?
she might be in a
She doesn't
nine-ish.
always come in on Fridays, does she? When I was-
I can call around.
when I
I'll
was-
figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll have it ready by 10.
If you got the document and you got it to the town clerk's office,
Yeah.
So you know what, you can email me. Just email me and tell me it's ready and I'll come down.
Brilliant. Thank you, dear.
okay.
Somebody over there.
Okay. Brian, was there anything on Sandy Pond Road that,
Right.
Right, City Pond Road.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you again.
I had that chat with Rob. He did a lovely plan for every tree that they cut down. They they have 3 different dogwood species. They're going to make stakes out of.
Do you need this one? The willows?
I don't need it. And at every tree that they cut down, they're going to put 3 stakes, one of each species. They're going to plant a grand total of 50 stakes, if planting's the right term for driving a stick into the ground.
Yep.
And that's about it. And the plan, which I believe was one of those many emails that I sent out this week, it was in that pile. The plan has X's over all the trees that were cut down, so that that's distinctly laid out and said these were supposed to be here. They're not. The planting scheme, I think, is 3 stakes for every square yard. So, more or less they're going, a tree a foot in the areas to the far right of the far east of the shoreline. There is one tree that they're going to put in the front of the house, as Bill requested. And it was pretty well spec'd out. The only detail theoretically that you could ask them to further address might be what to do in case of failure. If all the stakes froze, and they all failed. That one particular detail wasn't addressed. But, to be fair, they're putting in 50 stakes. I think some of them ought to keep.
They're not attractive to beavers, are they? Are the beavers attractive to dogwoods?
I don't think
do they
any
eat
more
them?
than any other species. I mean, dogwoods are a little on the softer side of things, and the
Every,
beavers do it
because
for...
every meeting I have to bring up beavers. You know that.
so
No,
this,
because they might come up and
I'm
basically
sure they'll take a liking.
take them.
I mean, but they're gonna be skinny for a while.
Yeah, but-
for a beaver, that's just like having a cracker. They
Just
want,
you
they
wait.
want bones.
Well, you have to cover. They'll have to cover them with some kind of wire mesh.
In there, did they include a methodology?
They're either gonna just jab them in the ground, or they're gonna drill a pilot hole with a metal rod.
Okay, and they're not protecting?
No protections called out for.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, this one, the enforcement order, was it a cease and desist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and where are they in terms of progress on?
They have yet to pick out a floor plan.
Okay,
So, in a manner of speaking, no particular rush.
okay.
It can wait.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily need to do anything.
No.
Right now.
No, it's
Okay.
just, this was the plan. I was going to have a letter for you guys to sign off on so I could get this off.
All right, we'll take that up at the
Yeah.
next meeting. Okay.
Bill did say at our last meeting, according to the minutes, that Rob Oliva was told it was permissible to continue with work covered under the order of conditions. But if any work outside of this was planned, then they needed to come back before us. So
Okay.
sort of verbally, it said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not holding up
No.
anything else?
There's nothing being held up. They still need to pick what house they want to put up, which is why in all the plans, you just have sort of a gray box drawn in with no specs to it
Right.
because they don't know what they want to put in.
Did we ratify the
We
enforcement
did
order? Okay.
ratify.
So we don't even need to do that, so let's move on.
Yeah.
Did we have to lift it or the cease and desist or?
Well, that's, it sounds like maybe that was already
Yeah, it was, we
clarified
didn't
that.
vote on it, but yeah.
Okay.
Right. And from a formal perspective, I have nothing for you to sign.
Okay.
But from an informal perspective, we're also not holding anything up. So,
Okay.
you know, the formal process can be on hold and no harm done.
Okay.
But Rob did submit a new plan. It looks pretty good in term, you know, except for the protection and the potential for failure thing. But, you know, if you want me to write him and ask him to call that out, it's easy enough.
Okay, yeah, why don't we do that?
All right. So, what would you like called out? What's the pleasure of the board?
I guess, do you want to specify a certain amount of protection?
I'm just not sure.
Well, the thing is, there's
No,
stakes.
they're-
So
They're-
like you can cage them,
Yeah,
you know, but that's only good to a certain point until they outgrow the cages, and then there's
Right.
still fair game for beaver food.
I know. it's
Um,
just sort
you
of-
can, you
yeah.
know, build bigger fences, but then that's a whole other thing. You're
I
on the
know.
shoreline. You know, my feeling, in a manner of speaking, is that the volume of stakes sort of is the protection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're going to lose a certain amount to the weather. You're
Right.
going to lose a certain amount to just they don't take and
Yeah.
they fail on their own. You lose a certain amount to, you know, to natural predation of one
Right.
sort or another.
Right.
And what they cut down? I think it was 6 trees they cut down that weren't supposed to. So if we lose 80% of the stakes that go in, there's still in the long term there'll be a net benefit. So, you know, in a manner of speaking, we could I could just say, hey, you know, we could put in 80 stakes instead of 50.
Did the plan specify that the tree, I think in the front, was going to be a mature tree? You know,
Yeah, bigger
10,
one.
14?
Yeah, it was called out. I think,
Is it a maple?
yeah, it was a maple, and I want to say 18 inches was one of the dimensions that was thrown around. I don't know if that was tall or wide, or but I think there's 18 thrown around was one number. But so from the protection
Yeah.
angle, you know, I'm just going for, you know, volume working
Yeah.
out. Because I don't know realistically, you know, what else could be done that would matter in the long run.
Yeah. I think it's just more sort of education, you know, just sort of kind of verbally sort of relay that information.
All right.
It's for you know, for in the future.
Yeah. So maybe ask for. We could add an order to the conditions of like I don't know what like beaver spray, like spray Wolverine scent all over the yard.
I won't do it.
I know.
Okay.
But seriously, anything to tell them? Anything you guys would like me to pass along?
I can't think of anything.
I don't think so.
Okay. So then I'll continue that for the sake of formality, so that we can have some paperwork drawn up for.
And this is just a
signatures.
discussion anyways, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
again, to give Bill and George a chance to have a chance to look at the plan and if they have issues
Yeah.
with it.
I mean,
Since they're already allowed to continue doing the other portions of the work.
You might pass that on to Rob.
say again.
You
I
might
mean-
pass on to Rob that Bill had okayed them proceeding with
Mm.
other work that was already okay.
Yeah,
in
like
the
picking a
original.
house and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the COC for 23 Hemlock.
That was one of our many hemlock properties
Mhm.
that at our last discussion was just, we got confused about which was which. And I did go out and have a look, and that would meet the COC requirements. under the assumption that was, or the assertion that was made that the yard depth and the house depth and all those kinds of things that were called out were just boilerplate that got copy pasted into every single order. And, you know, if that's the case, then yeah, it's fine. You know, the only condition on that property that really mattered, that you can really see, was the rock wall separating the drainage easement from the property, and it's there. Other than that, you know, the house is up, the yard's fine, the erosion control is all removed. You know, it was shifted out of the buffer zones. They moved the driveway, they moved the house, and tweaked it so that it was less impactful anyway. So yeah, that would be fine. And I checked in about the enforcement orders, and basically DEC doesn't even look at them unless we call them back. And because those weren't ratified to begin with, it's a less big deal. But even so, I spoke with Judy, and she just wrote a handwritten note in on their files to say, yeah, you know, these guys aren't pursuing this.
Okay. So we can't sign anything for this COC anyways right now, so we'll take that up.
So yeah, but from this standpoint, from the discussion and informational, keeping you guys informed, yeah, as long as you're okay with that boilerplate stuff sort of being passed through, you know.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely.
Yeah, I don't understand
that, so.
How that works either. So, you know,
I think it'd be worth looking at that again.
well, I don't know how many to look at. You know, in a manner of speaking, if that's boilerplate and the yards are supposed to be 25 feet deep and the houses are supposed to be 30 feet deep, and all of the yards ebb and flow, you know, and technically speaking, the yard ends here, and then there's land cleared for something else here, and you know, to make that distinction, you know, and if it's a copy pasted thing, I don't know which house is supposed to be
Right.
the 25
Well,
footer.
if it was inserted as a condition in error, we can correct that as an administrative correction. So I think it would be worth trying to make sure that we know which ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these orders were approved on the assumption that this was the most conservative scenario from our point of view. You know, the house was going to be, you know, closer to the wetland than, say, this line, and therefore this was going to be the depth of the yard. But if they are moving a little bit out of the buffer zone, and so the yard increases, is that, maybe it's just the wording of our...
Well, it's like what Steve was saying at the
That should be
last
okay.
meeting, that house that we had a problem with wasn't jurisdictional because the portion that we were complaining about was outside of the buffer. You know, it kind of gets into that same question. You know, all of that boilerplate was put in, but the real value of the language perhaps wasn't that well vetted.
So that means we need to overhaul our order of conditions down the line.
All right.
Okay.
So one more. MBTA, RDA,
I just kept them on to continue. I haven't heard from them since last meeting.
because they're supposed to get revised
Well,
plans, correct?
theoretically, they were potentially going to revise their plans and continue the process as is, or revise
okay.
them
And
and break
they
it into
haven't?
two pieces, and I haven't heard from
Okay,
them.
all right.
So it's just leaving it open.
So this is a public meeting, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the public meeting for MBTA to
The 11th.
February 11th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
How we doing with
Mark
that?
and Carly.
Okay, we have a little setup here. I don't know what you have for equipment or...
We have this.
Oh, we could project onto that with the
Well,
laptop?
we could plug it right in. It would be a USB kind of thing.
Oh,
I have a Mac.
Mm,
Otherwise, we have a projector, so it's not a problem. So here we go. I have a USB, but
we have this,
that might work.
that'll work.
Yeah, that's what time.
That
and we have
will-
this.
Okay, that will work.
The only trick is you'd have to sit here.
That's good.
All right. So then let's
Sit where?
where I am.
Okay, I'm Carolee.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, you did. Nice move.
And button.
Hi, Mark.
Ninja.
Your name is Carly?
Carolee.
Carolee. Caroly.
O-L-Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Jess.
Nice to meet you.
See you again, Curly. My name is Rotten.
Yes, Takashi, yes.
Yes,
See you
exactly.
again, Mark.
I'm Mark.
Control Alt Delete.
So I'm doing a presentation tonight. Mark is a little bit sick.
Oh, just a little.
Minor sick.
minor.
Did
Yeah,
you
don't worry.
just- I know, exactly. Okay.
A little bit of sniffles, could be allergy. Don't worry about it.
I know. Go wash your hands.
I think I do.
Okay.
So Takashi, you have a card already, but I can give you another. Okay. All right.
Just make sure Brian has one.
I gave one to Brian. Yep, I got one to Brian.
Very good.
Yeah,
I
okay.
might have it.
All right. So,
Hey, Jess. Password?
Oh, I have to find it.
Oh, well, when you do, you can.
Oh, no, you're.
so if you, yeah, so the Mac.
If I can. It's, Mercury is definitely in retrograde.
You're being very forgiving, Jess. Thank you.
I'm just having one of those days myself.
You have one of the most high-tech offices. Well,
Down here, anyway. We're working on the upstairs high tech.
Okay, so you just gotta plug that in.
Yeah, we need the
Connection.
password for this thing.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you heard any of my apologizing,
I did hear that.
This just falls right into that category.
Not a good day, huh?
No, I've had better, but it's
Well,
almost over.
Well, if that fails, we have the projector, so it's no big deal.
Okay.
We can just do the projector.
I thought I had it, but apparently,
Okay, I'll just bring the projector.
unless it's one other little place.
Yeah, maybe you want to just start firing that up,
Yeah.
just in case.
Start firing that up.
Ah,
Where did it? I thought I had it.
I know I have it.
So, could I shine it on? Maybe
Yeah.
try that wall.
Let's do that. The screen's really nice.
So I know Al Futterman talked to you guys about this project. But to speed things,
yeah,
that was.
yeah, he was here to talk about more the restoration.
the forest stewardship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the forest stewardship program side of things.
What do we
Need a
need?
plug? Oh, you know what? It looks like I went
Yeah,
down
they're
here.
down
Yep.
above the table.
Yep.
Very energetic and made it sound so easy.
Of course. Piece of cake.
I know, piece of cake.
That. Name. This. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for letting us come to talk. It's so late. You're all tired. So, okay, now why doesn't that work? Is there some...
I'm rubbing off on you. Maybe I should go outside the room and, There's no cover.
outlets?
All right.
Okay, it's
Let me
on.
plug it.
It's plugged in.
I don't know anything about this.
I don't know.
It looks like.
Oh,
That doesn't work, that cord?
no, I wonder if this is, because it's a smart one, you have to put it in the master outlet.
Oh, okay.
That's the control outlet.
That works. Okay.
You guys know about these
You're
things?
so- No.
So,
Yeah, we have one at home.
yeah, they're fantastic. Cindy got a grant from, so all of the ones in town, if you turn off this,
Mhm.
and let's say you're plugged into a printer.
Oh,
or
yeah,
a
yeah, I
speaker
do know
system,
about that, yeah.
So it all just shuts off because you're in the master outlet.
Right.
I thought it was very cool.
That is cool, yeah. one of those at home too. I need to get my, do you see it? See anything here? Oh, well, there we go. There's no signal, but now we're all gonna fall asleep, so. We do have light, so now that's fine. Okay, yeah, turn that back on, that would be helpful.
I'm a little disappointed that,
That what?
oh, just that, these guys are gonna miss the presentation, but I'm not entirely disappointed these guys missed a good day.
Who?
Are missing members.
Oh, you're missing, okay, got it. All right.
So only it's a shrink to the image size.
Yeah.
There we go.
Use up,
Okay,
more
we got it.
wall.
And then we'll just move.
Here, you want me to, I can play with this and you can,
Okay, all right, go right
and
ahead.
then you can get in there and then does this rise up?
Okay, so as Al told you, this is a 3-year project. We're in the 2nd year of this project. We have additional funds now from Patagonia, another foundation, and the National Fish and Wildlife Federation for New Hampshire side of things. But this project is with the National River Watershed Association as partners, UNH, Cooperative Extension, MASD, DCR, and both state foresters. And the project originated because, I'm going to just switch to this.
Is that better or worse?
That,
Does that
it's a
work
little
better for you
bit-
guys or worse?
a little bit
the
worse,
bottom off.
bring it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, now we
Can't
can
have
flip this
everything.
over.
There we go. Okay, we'll get there. Hey, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So the Forest Service has determined that this watershed, looking at the whole Huck 6, so the entire Merrimack River watershed from Pemigewasset to Winnipesaukee, all the way down to Nashua, and then over to Newburyport's the most threatened watershed in the country due to loss of private forested lands. So it's about 75% of this watershed was forested. And there's increasing housing pressure in southern New Hampshire particularly, but also in some counties in Massachusetts. As a result, it's ranked 4th in the country for the greatest impact to water quality and 7th for impacts to species at risk. And so the idea for this project is to protect and restore river buffers in the most important subwatersheds. So we're looking at 40 to 50 square mile scale subwatersheds, Huck 12s, and we've identified the top 7 most important that can help address both water quality and threats to species at risk. So the project is designed to identify sites for restoration. This subwatershed that you're in right now is slated for restoration, and other subwatersheds are for protection. And what we can offer is free technical assistance in plants, BMP's assistance with getting private landowners for forest stewardship plans, and that's what Al talked about, presumably. So my GIS guy had done, you know what, Mark, if you're able to grab the laser pointer, it's in you'll find it in that briefcase. Had done impervious surface analysis for the whole Merrimack watershed, the Nashua watersheds on the lower left part of the Merrimack watershed. And the red is impervious surfaces above 9%. This is for the entire watersheds, and each border is at a Huck 12 level, so again 40 to 50 square miles. The right-hand side shows the same analysis done just for a 100-meter buffer, so 300 feet on either side of the rivers. We looked at we did not do first and second order streams. We did everything up from third order up to do this assessment. And so your watershed, you have 4, but the one we're focused on, I know it's in there. Okay. Your watershed is below the Massachusetts line, the Squanicook watershed. You're just below it, and on the order of 5 to 7% for your buffer. So a lot of planners grew up with the knowledge from the Center for Watershed Protection, or with the idea that 10% impervious surface. I'm going to have to get the laser pointer. 10% is driving me crazy. It is.
I didn't want to go through what looked like your personal. I looked at that.
No worries. That 10% was the limit for causing problems, but the latest science is really showing that the limit is much smaller, lower than that. I worked with the Nature Conservancy. Actually came from their Nature Conservancy, but worked with them on river herring projects. They're going with a threshold of 8%. From my perspective, going with a threshold of 7%, but basically the bottom line, so what this paper shows, this is Schiff and Benoit, 2007, and what they did is they looked at the West River in New Haven, Connecticut, and looked at different scales, and then assessed, the top graph is water quality index, the middle two are macroinvertebrates, so this is a macroinvertebrate index for pollution sensitive insects, this is for pollution tolerant insects, so the inverse of that, and then the bottom graph is fish habitat quality. The x-axis is total impervious percentages, basically. The black line is 10%, and the red arrow is 5%. So if you go to the top and you look at water quality, you can see that water quality actually drops by half when you get to even 5% impervious surface.
What's, how do they define water quality, or what measure?
This is a water quality index. That's a good question. I don't, I mean, the methods have it, and I'm happy to send the paper. I have the paper.
Okay.
I don't know.
Most likely a combination of various parameters.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
nutrients and other factors.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly which ones.
And then, and you can see basically this 50% decline is really true across the board, including fish habitat. So, that's where we're focused, so you really get to degradation. And what's cool about this paper is they actually looked at different scales, and then they did regression analysis and showed which scale is the most significant for all these parameters. And that's one of the reasons why we're focusing on river buffers. But one other point I want to make is that stormwater engineered BMPs have not been shown to date to protect diversity of species. Or abundance of riverine species. They do other things. They increase infiltration. That's valuable. They minimize stormwater runoff. That's valuable. They can address some of the pollutants. That's valuable. But the BMPs, if you just focus on ensuring that you have even bioswales or rain gardens or whatever, even the best BMPs, you will not necessarily maintain the diversity and the ecosystem. So this is your watershed, the natural watershed, again within the Merrimack. 600,000 people use the river for drinking water, fourth biggest watershed in New England. Top watershed issues, just in yellow, are the ones we're really focusing on. One thing to note is that the Merrimack watershed is the second greatest contributor to the Gulf of Maine, and now we're looking at sub-basin really, for both nitrogen and phosphorus, even though it's not the biggest in terms of people, nor the biggest in terms of area. Pathogens are obviously a problem too, and so these are the areas that from the Watershed Council we're focused on trying to address. I'm sure you're well aware of stormwater, but just a couple points on stormwater. Just want to highlight the other aspects besides pollutants, the flashiness, the erosion that you get on banks with stormwater. And that this is a great read, this thick, but it's a great read on the problems that we've really faced in handling stormwater across the country. And where you don't have agriculture as your primary land use type, construction violations are the most significant contributors to phosphorus because phosphorus is a charged particle, it carries in the sediment. And so you can have the best permitting for construction, but if you don't enforce the construction and you have the construction violations, you're going to have problems with phosphorus. I can provide you with the reference of this paper, but there's some very nice papers out of University of Maryland that if you just go too far on the impervious surface side of things, you can't recover your streams. It's just, you might be able to recover some common fish species, but you can't recover the stream entirely. It's just too costly once it reaches a certain point of degradation. So For Ayer, the Nashua River Catacoonamog Squanicook is the watershed we're interested in, which is this watershed right here in your borders. And so the buffer is 5.5% impervious surface. Your watershed is 9%. So you're just at the limit. Yes.
Just wanted to emphasize, because the question came up with other towns, the buffer is 300 meters, correct?
The buffer that we're assessing here with this impervious surface is 300 feet.
Oh,
Right,
feet.
300 feet, 100 meters, right. 300 feet on either side,
Yeah.
100 meters, just to calculate the percent impervious surface.
Right.
And then your other watersheds, you're higher on your full watershed for the other watersheds, and you're kind of high too on the buffer impervious surface for the other three watersheds that comprise Ayer. You're already impaired for pathogens and nutrients, and you do have you are a site that are important for cold water fishes, as per the brook trout joint venture. Not the top tier, but you are scored and counted as an important site for cold water fishes. We're providing two documents. One is the PowerPoint. The other is a really nice document that Mark prepared on sort of reviewing the benefits of 100-foot no-build buffers. So I live in Rhode Island. I was on in a small town there, about the same size as Ayer, 10,000, near Smithfield, on the ordinance committee there. And the state of Rhode Island, just to let you know, they have concluded that they had a 50-foot no disturbance buffer, and concluded that that was not adequate to maintain the integrity of the wetlands. When we're doing this presentation, we're looking both at wetlands as well as rivers, not intermittent wetlands or intermittent rivers. But so what these studies show, and the document Mark has will give you the references in the background. But that if you had 100 foot, not 100 meters now, 100 foot no build buffer, really strict on the no disturbance, no build, you can reduce your MS4 costs, you can reduce flooding, you can cut your nitrogen by 80 to 90% with a 100 foot no build buffer. This graph down here is really nice, just shows the benefit you get, the benefit you get for all of these parameters by feet. So basically, so the way these work is you get maximal benefit starting sort of where the black line is. So at nitrogen, you get maximum benefit at 100 feet, and so the sweet spot, you could consider a sweet spot to address sediments, phosphorus, and start your nitrogen really cut it at 80 to 90% is at 100 feet no build buffer. And then you start really benefiting wildlife, not the rarer species, but you'll benefit your more common species by having a 100-foot no-build buffer.
Can I ask why the significant difference between phosphorus and nitrogen in terms of,
the value?
Buffering distance? Is it because one is more, impervious to sort of filtering through?
One might be more water soluble, the other not as much.
Yeah. This is considering the vegetation along the buffer, so it looks at grass versus mixed trees, shrubs, and does that analysis too. Okay. So, but that's a good question. And they have you can get really complicated with this, but in my opinion, the simpler the ordinance, the better, because once you start to get too complicated, it's just it's too hard to regulate, too hard to deal with. You could deal with different soil types, yada yada. It's just impossible. Okay, so some interesting new science that's documented on how river buffers actually benefit even forest birds. So 20%, because 20% of insects have aquatic larvae, forest birds living within 600 feet of the stream get 25% of their energy budget from riparian insects. And in this case, it's kind of obvious, but more terrestrial insects are known to be found by streams with trees than with grass. In addition, a number of fish can actually get considerable portion of their fish diet from riparian trees, and they also actually get the food from the trees themselves. This is studies, the Cole et al. Down here, but these are, we knew this for the tropics, but now we know this for temperate areas like ours. 20 to 50% of the carbon and fish can come directly from the leaves of trees. So, well, the reason why we're doing this presentation is to really try to encourage, see if there's any way we can help towns as critical as yours to try to reduce impervious surfaces in the river buffer. One thing, it doesn't have to be bylaws, it could be conservation incentives, so developers can get LEED credit for a 100-foot buffer. So, you know, you don't have to go the stick route, you could go the carrot route. Bylaws, land protection, and or, as Al was telling you, forest, you know, improved land management, additional forest stewardship plans. So there's a whole lot of ways that you could reduce your impervious surfaces, both within your river buffer area as well, wetland buffer, as well as the watershed as a whole. So this is just some examples. I don't know, just does Ayer have an overlay district for your, do you have any overlay districts for critical surface water areas or groundwater areas?
Aquifers.
Yeah, just
Aquifers.
an aquifer. Nothing more linguistic than that.
So you have an aquifer district,
Yeah.
and you have regulations in your aquifer district.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
what?
they're actually something that if there's a way where the zoning bylaw is being in the process of being updated, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
And if you had any suggestions for tweaking that language, you know, I think there would be amenable to
We would
hearing.
absolutely have suggestions for that.
So,
Yeah, so in the use table, we would be really open and willing to help out in any way, shape, or
I
form.
mean, this is the kind of thing where I don't know necessarily how much they'd be willing to take, but in talking with Jeremy, who's the head of the zoning board, I was making nitpicky comments about what kind of trees would be required for open space plantings, and I really wanted them to include language on non-invasive, local, like that kind of thing, as opposed to just trees of a certain height, and he was like, yeah, that'd be fine, I don't care, it doesn't bother me that much. So if you had something that maybe you could just use, that'd be great. But
Yeah, well, it would be
the
helpful.
bigger question on these is, while ecologically, obviously, I agree, what is going to be the town benefit when you've got so many people with houses on the water, with yards going fairly far down, why would they want to theoretically give up 100 foot of there?
Right, I looked at your pines, and thank you for sending that study, it was really helpful. Some of your pines with houses right along the water, right along those pines, that's going to be darn near impossible to increase buffers, because they're living by the pines because they want to see the pines. But you could do, even if you had shrubs that you could still see, that would help, that would help address some of these issues. So, overlay, the overlay district, we already talked about the no build setback bylaw. I don't know, your stormwater management, your SWIPs, you have a stormwater plan?
Yeah, but that's
for
all in DPW.
in DPW, okay.
I'm entirely illiterate in terms of the town's stormwater work.
Okay, because you updating on soil erosion controls, it can be done there. Another option is to allow developers the flexibility in parking space requirements, so you don't have to, like in our town, we had a ceiling of 4 spaces for every 1,000 square feet, but we allowed the developer, we wrote the bylaw to allow the developer to go lower if the developer felt like they could. You can also, in our town, we had to deal with a big box development, same size as your town. We never thought we'd get it, and we got it. And now we've added in our use table limits of 40,000 square feet. We don't have any more structures beyond that.
Yeah, and those would be an interesting thing to mention to Jeremy for the zoning.
Okay.
Because that was exactly the parking lot stuff, especially. There's a lot of language about the size of required parking.
Yeah, that's a really helpful place to start. And then the last one that's viewed positively by planners and zoners is this was a tool we built with URI, but basically it's an Excel file that lets you tweak the percent impervious cover for each zone, so that this is the gist of what it looks like. In our case, we wanted to keep the watershed 6.7% what it was. Each of these is our different zone: business, highway, manufacturing, limited commercial, rural agriculture, rural estate agriculture. And so what we did is we set that, and then you could adjust the percent impervious surface, so that if the planning board wants to have greater impervious surface along the business highway, they could do that, and then write in the bylaw to adjust the impervious surface for other zones. And that went over very well. Just to note, I know there's a lot of fear for addressing bylaws, but this is a really nice paper. I'm happy to provide it, which documents that actually out of 300 court cases, only 13% succeeded in claiming takings or violations when towns did write the bylaws. And basically, towns are in solid ground if you base the buffer on scientific facts. You allow variances, special use permits. If you didn't, only the ones that succeeded occurred when the towns didn't follow those procedures. And as long as you state your goals, so if you have goals for your wetland goals or your river goals, to go beyond. I mean, I know the Massachusetts River Protection Act and the Wetland Protection Act, it's pretty squishy. There's a lot of flexibility there for good and for bad. And so if towns can set those more strict standards, you can really achieve some good here. And courts have ruled a small reduction in value is not a taking. So this is the way we would be open to helping you. And especially that you've done this great study with Geosyntech, you've got a lot of, and knowing one thing, I don't know did I show you here? I went through it really fast. Yeah, so this is what my GIS guy did. This is sparrow modeling. So this is modeling in nitrogen and phosphorus. Here's Ayer here. And so, the string of your ponds that sort of go down to Grove Pond. And then you have this, from the sparrow modeling of phosphorus, you have this big hot spot there, and looking at that report, both Flanagan's Pond and Sandy Pond, are eutrophic. And it would be cool if there was an opportunity to do something to help address, the phosphorus of those sites.
Yeah. How many or which towns have taken up, the 100-foot no build?
In Massachusetts, he has. Why don't you hand that out?
Yeah, we looked at the towns that we're given this presentation for, and of those, they do vary significantly from towns that have. I think the most significant no build was 75 feet in one of the towns that might be Harvard. And some towns just follow the Wetland Protection Act. They don't have a local protection bylaw. So it varies considerably what the towns do. Some are better than others, but none of the towns in our area have a 100-foot no build per se. We sort of recognize that's, except in certain overlay district situations that might be politically infeasible on a town-wide basis, perhaps.
I will tell you in Rhode Island, we have 39 towns.
Yeah.
And out of those 39 towns, 19 created a 100-foot no-build buffer zone. We actually created both a 100-foot no-build for structures and a 150-foot setback for septic. I know you guys are sewer, but that the septic was a little harder for us to get past. And we actually we didn't set that septic setback for the whole town. We just set it for part of the town because it was impossible to get through. But what happened in Rhode Island was once it hit sort of 19, we were the 19th town to pursue this. The Rhode Island Builders Association got upset and tried to get the state to take it back down to 50 feet. So they got a bill to force the state to review it. The state did review it, concluded 50 feet is inadequate, and so thanks to the Rhode Island builders, actually the state's gone to 100. So now Rhode Island is at 100 feet. the entire state. So, you know, maybe it doesn't happen in Massachusetts, but this is where the science is going.
So Takashi, I mean, Groton's got a pretty strong, you know, conservation crowd in town. And you guys have this presentation, remember?
Yeah, they were one of the first towns who presented.
How's at this point? How's the fallout or the feedback or the?
Well, Groton has a 50-foot, Groton has a bylaw with a 50-foot notice surface zone. So Groton already has, you know, relatively speaking, a pretty good, pretty strong bylaw on the books. And it was recently, it was first adopted in 2001 and was just updated, revised with just some minor updates and some clarifications 2 years ago. So there's not a lot of desire to go through that again, the process of revising it. So there hasn't really been any substantive discussion on making any major changes to the existing bylaw, but it's been on the books since 2001.
You have a local wetland bylaw that's pretty short, if I understand.
It doesn't really do anything.
No.
The air bylaw doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, so if there was any interest in
I mean,
beefing up your
I'm
bylaw.
for whatever. It's just a matter of, you know, these guys wanting me to do it, and then trying to be realistic about this town and
Right.
you know what are the trees worth barking on. You know
There
what
was
I
an
mean?
attempt to do a bylaw number about 10 years ago, something
Yeah.
like that. And there were some mishandlings on the part of the Patrick who tried to do it, but
When was it? When was that?
it was about 10 years ago, and maybe like, yeah, about 10 years ago, and but somebody had stacked that meeting. It was voted down.
Okay. I will say that the Center for the Trust for Public Land has shown that for every dollar spent in this way, you could save 27 on wastewater treatment costs. So you can make a strong case. You're saving money on MS4. You're saving money on a lot of components that you end up paying on the other end. But
that would be really intriguing.
Yeah.
If I can throw an ask in, if like let's just
that's why
say-
we're here.
Yeah. Let's just say we wanted to pursue a 100-foot buffer.
Yeah.
And say, all right, guys, let's do this. And the first thing you're going to hear from somebody is going to be why. You know, you're going to get up in my grill, and what's the point? You know, it would be really intriguing to see how much land hasn't been developed in that 100-foot buffer, and then we could run the math and say that, you know, there's, I don't know, 100,000 square feet in town that this would pull out of development. Ergo, this is going to save us $3.5 million in water treatment based on, you know, that math. You know, that's the kind of thing that would get somebody's attention.
Right. Yeah, that would be a fine-tune, fine-scale GIS exercise, which I think we could do.
You know, if you've got the right data and you've got the
Right.
right,
Yes.
you know, it's just like how you slice it, but
Right,
it should be,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, one thing, you know, when we did it in our town, it took 2 years to get passed, 2 to 3 years to get, because we did all of those bylaws that I showed you. You know, realizing that that existing structures are grandfathered, they're obviously grandfathered, right? And accessory structures, you know, are not considered, so that, but we could provide the language that we had worked with URI's non-point source municipal official legal person to help us write the bylaw in the first place.
One of the challenges with theirs was pretty close, they keep saying we're pretty close to build out already. I had one question on that, where you showed the hot spot of the nitrogen and
Phosphorus.
phosphorus.
Yeah, yeah.
Phosphorus. Where did you get that?
We did it, so it's GIS modeling. There's one thing with Max, you know, this cable just drives me crazy. Let me see.
That's the Andromeda Galaxy.
Okay, let's see here.
I think you he said like he thought Flanagan's was already hyper-eutrophic.
Flanagan is eutrophic,
Eutrophic.
yeah. And,
that's out of
and
the
Sandy
report
Pond
that
out
I
of this
gave you.
report,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whether that
Yeah.
red area is
I didn't think Sandy,
Devon's, I'm not sure.
It is it's just
Yeah.
west of you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Sandy Pond came out as eutrophic yet.
Well, I
It's
gave
in
her
your,
the draft.
Well, yeah,
She was
the draft,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
There are a few
Their model-
eutrophic ones,
Yeah.
eutrophic.
yeah, it looks like Grove Pond is hopeless, I don't wanna go there.
And it's full of,
Yeah, it sounds like, so the last page is where kids can swim if they just wanna go through all those chemicals.
well, we need to deal with that in some phase because otherwise it's just going to become a water chestnut source for every other pond.
Right.
True.
That's not good.
True.
You know, everybody's in front.
So it said, Sandy Pond was 37 micrograms per liter. Yeah, so, I mean, they only sampled 2 days. It's pretty limited sample there, but then they're modeled too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you very much. I know it's late, and whatever, be in touch. Let us know what we can provide or we can meet your plan or.
I'd love to see
we
a
can set
sample
up a
of
future
bylaw.
meeting if you're
Okay.
enhanced
to
bylaw.
that.
Well,
Okay, a sample mass bylaw?
so
Or
or something
the
that's
ro-
who
okay.
asks, I would
Not-
start
not-
with is what
not
I already
the-
gave
not
you,
the-
you know.
Right.
state's
Uh,
bylaw, but
you
a
know,
sample
and
of
then,
sort of ideal small
have a
town
look
like us.
at the bylaw and
What sort
some
of
the people
things
put
do they put
together.
in a
Oh,
good
yeah.
bylaw?
Yeah, I'd be
It's
happy
posted
to.
right now, it's
Um,
under review, there's,
Who would I send it
yeah,
to?
it's the planning and zoning.
You can send it to
supervisor.
Brian and
Brian.
he can,
Okay.
he can circulate it.
Okay, so just, Jess said she'd be happy to see bylaws, so I'd be happy to send those to you. And if there's any of the references, you have the PowerPoint, if there's any of the references you want, let me know and we can send those and we'd be happy to talk to your planner. Thank you very much, I know it's really late, you guys go through a lot.
Thank you. There's a few extras here for the people that didn't.
Do you, actually, this is a quick question.
Yeah.
You know, like,
So,
Sandy Pond,
yeah,
remember,
we'll look at the bylaw, though. And
Snake Hill Road, there's a house that basically they clear cut all the trees last year because they were redoing the house and everything. And it's just a lot of old trees. Some were right up against the house, so yeah, they would be creating problems for the foundation and stuff, but they did everything.
Gosh.
And we had a
Painful.
discussion, yeah, we had a discussion of, you know, to what extent do we, can the Conservation Commission
If you can turn on the dime, you know, maybe we can do something with it.
say, no, you can't clear cut like that? And I was looking at, like, Sudbury had some things in their bylaw, but really, we didn't find that much. Do you remember that discussion?
So were they rebuilding the house or were they
No,
doing?
they were just renovating the
Yeah,
house.
they renovated it.
They were
And they did
renovating the house
renovated
and
it.
it was within the 200 feet?
Oh,
Well, it's
it's
across the road from the pond,
really, but within
but
like
within
30, oh, well, the house
definitely within
itself,
200 feet.
the house itself is within 100 feet. You were talking about like habitat issues, but Bill calls me the tree hugger.
So they were renovating the house and they had to clear cut it for construction.
Well, there were a lot of great old,
Which one is
very
it?
old white pines.
Go down
And a
Snake
couple of them
Hill,
were
here's Calvin
adjacent,
Street,
like almost
and
like
there's that
touching
first
the
house, it's
So they
really right on
definitely
the
got rid of
water.
those.
It's right
But then
across
they
from
started
there, before you
clearing
get to
everything
like,
else within the yard.
really, they completely
which
took
was-
Don't you have the
every-
authority to say they can't do
Surprising.
that? I mean, if it's within your buffer zone, don't you have the authority to
I
tell
don't,
them?
there's no reg for that.
No,
We don't have a regulation for that.
we didn't get far on that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Bill thought
I
it was
remember
fine, I was like, eh.
In my mind, the local, having it somewhat a little more rigorous wetland bylaw might be the best thing.
Personally, I would love to see anything that would give us
Yeah,
stronger
achieve
powers
these
on
objectives. I'll look
protecting
at the
against
zoning and see where,
indiscriminate
you know,
tree
that
cutting.
might be applicable, but certainly
Because
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
some environmental
And, you know,
benefits.
yeah, I mean, even if you can't go the full 100-foot no build, I mean, having 50-foot no build is better than
Right,
not having
right,
any.
yeah.
So, you know,
Right, and you know what, it only takes one town though, like just
Yeah.
imagine, let's throw this out there, and I'm not trying to push you beyond, I'm really just trying to
Yeah.
see if we can be helpful and you go with what you're comfortable with. But all you need is one town that goes beyond that border, and then the next town says, look, they did it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have 19 towns that did it, and now the
Yeah.
whole state.
I'm
No,
more
sir.
fearful of like neighbor to neighbor, like, you know, if it's kind of like trendy thing to do is cut
Yeah.
down, you know, your trees on your property so you can see the pond, then the next neighbor's like, oh, well, if they did it, I can do it. So all of a sudden, all the trees, never
trees based on the basal diameter and all this stuff, and it was just too hard to implement or to even administer. So they've simplified that, but at least it's a way where people can have their view, but they also have to protect some of the shoreline vegetation. So it's,
right,
they try to simplify it. So
yeah.
You can have, you could do mixed tree shrub, but yeah, when we were writing this grant proposal, the mayor of Haverhill, I said, this is the idea, we want to get trees and shrubs along the river. He said, I want to cut all the trees and shrubs along the river down so people can see the river. It's like, okay, maybe I won't get the letter of support from Haverhill. I don't think I'm going to get a Forest Service grant for that.
he's not going to be a trout fisherman. He knows that the trees keep the water cool.
I just think it would be funny talking to you, like, let's just say Ayer passed 100-foot no-build along the river. Can you imagine the people in Groton being like, whoa, 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 Ayer did what? Like, we're those people. We are the good people.
There you go. See, you can have a competition. Who's the good people? No, I don't understand how you're at both meetings. Is Conservation Commission cut across?
Oh, no.
No, so I work for the Conservation Commission in Groton.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you are the kind. That's
Right.
good for
It's an
you.
Ayer resident.
I got it.
So I have to be there for the other meeting.
As long as they're not on the same night.
Yes, there are different nights.
Well, yeah, so then,
so-
the other thing while you're here.
Yeah.
So remember the 5-star grant I was talking about last time?
Right.
So I talked to Mark, and basically he said it looked good, it looked like it would line up, it looked like it would be worth doing, but it didn't look like enough time to put together something reasonable.
Who's Mark?
The head of DPW.
Okay.
He's very proactive.
Okay.
And if you guys have any DPW related things, especially stormwater related, and especially in regards to some of the comments that were made in that report that are, I think he'd be fairly amenable to listening. He seems to be a fairly forward-looking, forward-thinking type of fellow.
That's awesome. We just met yesterday with, or talked to Geosyntec for a different reason, because they, we had applied to Mass DEP to use, they have a decision support tool for watershed planning. And I was hoping to have them do the whole Merrimack, but first of all, they're not going to do anything in New Hampshire. I understand that. And then secondly, they won't even do a Hawk 8, so they wouldn't do all the national watersheds. So I actually suggested this watershed. But then, it's the same consultants, and they've done such a nice job on Ayer already. I don't know if it's worth it, because you already have BMPs, locations of BMPs identified for
Well,
your
they only did,
ponds.
to look at, there's 9 potential water bodies that they could have done this work on, and we did 5. Like, when you think of the smaller ponds and the bigger ponds,
Yeah.
the geosynthetic work only did about half of the water bodies they have, and they left out all the streams, right?
Yeah.
Streams would be nice. It'd be nice to understand this
Well,
phosphorus problem.
It was, it's just budget,
Yeah,
it was
but they
pretty
did a really
expensive.
nice job.
Yeah, but if they took your idea and instead of doing it over twice, they just sort of filled in the gaps, that would be nice.
Yeah, well, they're thinking, they're trying to figure out if they can do this, if this tool is appropriate for Huck 12. So they're thinking about that.
Okay.
But if it would be helpful to Ayer, because we would like to combine this project with a green infrastructure BMP effort, and I talked to Elizabeth, Mark's boss, today. So if we did, the value of this decision support tool is we would the watersheds that do this would have all the elements lined up for 319 grants. And so we would partner with you guys, continue this collaboration and partner to do water quality improvement.
Yeah, so the chat that I had with Mark though was that when the geosyntax report is finalized, you know, and if we sort of sit down and have a longer term conversation about what to ask for and how to ask for it, he was really behind the idea of, you know, applying next year and sort of taking this year in America speaking to build partnerships and to make you know, to make a real application package rather than a forced application package where it's like, oh, I just saw this, we've got 2 weeks, let's whip this up and, you know, make something happen. He's like, no, let's take this slow, we've got time, the draft isn't even finalized yet, so that really has any weight to it. You know, finish the job, you know, have these conversations, have another conversation, you know, and make something out of it. So, yeah,
Well,
this would all tie together.
Right, that shows the timeliness of it, because if we get this decision support tool to be for the whole HUC 12, then we will have that background for all the conditions for 319. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we could ask for stuff.
Right, then you could ask for stuff. That's the idea.
No, you just volunteered. If we need a body to go talk over to Mark and to be you just volunteer.
No, I did the.
Got it.
I've already
Thank you.
volunteered to go water testing. He said he bought a boat.
He did?
Yeah, they bought, DPW bought a boat.
For water testing?
I mean, DEP, sorry.
Oh.
No, DPW. Yeah, they bought a boat.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you need a boat for?
So test water?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So wait, back up.
What?
They did, for real, you're not joking, they bought a boat to do water testing?
Well, he didn't tell me specifically to do water.
Because these
but
guys
they-
will help train water testers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You will?
yeah, we will. I mean, if we're paid, we're a small nonprofit, but we have YSIs, I own 4 YSIs, and then I own a YSI that does blue-green algae too.
Really?
So we trained Groundwork Lawrence we had an urban waters grant from EPA to do spigot water quality, and then I trained Sohegan volunteers on the YSIs. And we actually have in-house pathogen testing.
Yeah.
But as I told Brian, we need money to update our probes. I mean, just like the geosyntech estimate, you know, it costs. We have to update our DO probe, our pH probes. It's a couple thousand.
I know Mark has a pH probe, I know they have.
Yeah, but maybe not necessarily.
No, we have to update our probes and all the chemicals, you know, to do. But we have PowerPoints to
all right.
teach water quality volunteers.
But this is going to be just looking to
To
get
try
the money, right, for all of this.
Well, maybe,
right?
but what's Mark's budget for training his staff?
Could be maybe part of.
Well, like if he already is intending to teach them how to do the work, and he's already trying to look for people to do the teaching, and he's and you know.
Who's Mark?
The head of DPW.
Oh, right. You said that already.
Yeah, he just bought a boat to do water quality testing apparently.
Well, other things, but not necessarily water quality.
I'm
but
not
it might
sure
be.
exactly.
We
don't want to jump in.
Might come out of his operating budget.
Some of your ponds are kind of shallow. Is this for the ponds or is this for the river, for your rivers?
For the ponds.
For the ponds.
I'm just gonna trap beavers.
Yeah.
Trap beavers? No.
Well, thank you anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and your wheels are turning.
I know, I'm just
Dude,
thinking.
this is good.
Oh, good. So hopefully we'll be in touch.
I hope, Mark, I hope you had allergies.
Yes.
I guess I should have told him before you shook hands. Bye.
Bye. All right, Bonnie, we're gonna give you a new title. The water quality queen.
Water quality. You know what my
WQQ.
Okay, you want to know what my title is at work? I'm called the River Queen. You know why?
You like to gamble?
Well, I have been known to play poker, and I came in second one year because I won every hand I won was on the river.
You play poker?
Yeah,
I used to play poker.
well, kind of, a little bit.
Well, I don't
Not
play it well,
real-
but
Okay, sorry. We'll discuss later.
Takashi.
We're still on the.
All right. We do have an agenda. I'll
Well,
put handwritten.
basically, we're at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because
So what-
the bylaw and geosyntec were both on there, and both of them kind of were hit in passing. So
Yeah, so you have here ZVA bylaw. It's not really.
oh, just because Bonnie went, so we could talk about the meeting.
Yeah, but it's a zoning bylaw.
It's a
Zoning Board of
zoning.
Appeals is a separate kind of entity
True.
related to adjudicating
True and true.
nonconformity with zoning, but it's what's being discussed in there is an update to the zoning. I guess I'm not entirely familiar.
So as I
Yeah.
kind of understood it, was sort of like some of the language is sort of going hand in hand with conservation commissions. I mean, the rules and regs. That it's not superseding anything. It's just sort of
Well,
laying out some more definition in terms of.
under our bylaw, we don't have any.
I know we don't
rules and
have
regs.
anything.
Right.
I know.
So
I know.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So
I wish I brought it. I didn't bring it.
so I put it on because I posted it as a quorum that Concom would be at the meeting. That didn't happen, but that was just,
That's
playing
fine.
it safe. And so because I posted it that way, I posted it here so that there'd be room for a chit chat if one was needed, or if people wanted to talk to Bonnie and see what her impressions were and go over anything. I made some comments, and I actually drew and wrote and on the margins of a copy and gave that to Jeremy. And at some point he'll probably have a chat with me, and the things he liked or the things he didn't, and what he will or won't incorporate. You heard me saying that some of the choice of language they use for their planting requirements, where it just said a tree rather than a bush, or a bush rather than a tree of a certain height, I would say, put in native, non-invasive, or something to that effect. And Jeremy was like, yeah, I don't care, that's fine with me, that'd be great. So then theoretically all of the the required screening that would go in with a new parking lot, you wouldn't have any more euonymus, which I hate because they go into all of the parking lots, but that would be right there, that would be a benefit. But I didn't really take many of my comments past that, because to my eye there wasn't room for it. But after this discussion, it sounded like we might get one or two ideas passed down about how to rephrase some of the parking requirements and some of the
Right.
the call outs of open space to curbage to da 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 da.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah.
But this gets into now. So did you pick anything up worth?
No, and I saw some of your edits, which were really. I mean, you've kind of more fine tuning, which was nice. Giving more definition to some of the. But it wasn't. I mean, I can't remember. It was nothing regarding any wetland or.
No. No. The other thing actually that I've raised with them, that at some point I will raise here because I'm working it into sort of my updating of the order of conditions, would be night sky compliant lighting. There's a whole set of model laws, model bylaws, model rules, regs, and policies with the Night Sky Alliance that have to do with shading creatures who need dark, from developmental light and developmental light from developments. And one thing, again, talk with Jeremy, was that if he incorporated some of that language into their zoning law, then it would make it a lot easier for us to incorporate that kind of language into, orders.
Yeah.
Like for instance, say the Willows or Pingree Hill, like one language thing I was playing with was, in the riverfront area, light can't be, the lighting fixture has to have that seal on it. Or if you are within sight of you have to have that seal on it, and you're not necessarily forcing people to buy something they don't want, but you are, requiring this thing, and you get into some wishy-washy kind of legalese, I suspect, where to say that the light impacts the wetland isn't necessarily the point of the Wetland Protection Act. but it would be impacting the ecology of the wetland.
Yeah.
You know, from the plants, from the moving creatures aspect, rather than from the
Right.
stationary creatures aspect, and that would be. I don't know. I could see people finding room to stick a wedge in that and crack it open if it's not done right, or if it's
Yeah,
not.
well, that's kind of what she sort of said, you have to
Yeah.
sort of back it with the science and
But
literature
anyway,
and data, yeah.
yeah. So that's how I'm moving along.
Yeah.
And then geosyntec.
Yeah.
You guys saw the email about they want their money.
I did too.
Do you check your email? Are you as bad as Bill?
Not all enough.
He's as bad as Bill.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna start including your Groton email on.
So what do we have to do, in terms of,
So everybody needs to get their comments into Jess, so that Jess can harass Bill effectively.
well, I told Bill was going to write something back in December after we last met. November or December.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
When we-
Both.
it's
Both.
December, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so I suggested to him the other day that maybe I could try a draft. And then, because he seems to do better if give him something.
If he
and,
has something, yeah.
and then he can
Do you
edit
seem
away.
amenable to that?
Yeah,
Was he?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good.
So I had your comments. You never got
You
comments
better.
from George or Takashi. Their sections. But I thought what I'd do is try and get something, so you could probably communicate that I'll try and have something soon.
So
And,
does part of the, so we pay, we pay them that final
Mhm.
payment. Do they come back to do a presentation in
If you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I
do
don't
we
think
pay
we can
extra, do we pay extra?
Yeah, I
for
don't
that?
think that.
I can find out. It's easy enough to
Mm.
say. But were you here when they came in and did their?
Yeah, but I remember that he said something about, so we wanted to whittle the presentation down and make it more sort of user-friendly for the great, the bigger audience, right? Because the intention was for him to go to town meeting, or maybe to the board, maybe Board of Selectmen, maybe? I can't remember
Yeah,
what.
Yeah,
Selectmen?
when he's done with us, he can go
Right.
to another. Yeah, that does ring a bell.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Was that
Here, I'll double-
included in the
I
pay?
will-
I don't think that's included in
It's not?
the scope of what.
Okay,
I don't recall
okay,
there being.
yeah. Remember,
Because that would, I think, be a line item in the
Yeah.
contract now. Recall that.
yeah.
I will ask him how many more presentations they'll give in or to town for free, or for no additional fee, and we'll see what he says.
How long have we been sitting on that invoice?
November.
A couple months.
And they sent a not impolite email, but kind of a strongly, like, where's, hey, people, this was 3 months. You're going to have comments and you're going to pay us, and
Or-
neither has happened.
Or as it would say, as a follow-up to yesterday's email regarding the final report for the Air Ponds project, please note that we are still waiting for payment of our final invoice of $16,604, which was submitted over 2 months ago. If payment of the final invoice is linked to the Commission's review of the final report, would it be possible to have that completed by the end of this month? This being the 28th, I'd say no, but,
Yeah, you get the idea.
we
You have
do
a
need
copy
to-
of that in both of your email accounts.
I saw it.
No, that's okay. Let's talk about Takashi.
Oh, and both of your
Bill
email.
Jr. over there.
Both of your. I mean, can we set a goal to have it
I
done
think
by
a
the
goal would
end
be
of
great.
February?
Yeah,
Let's push it out
that-
1 month?
Well, actually, I would say let's set a goal of having something ready for review and then to send at our next meeting.
Yeah, so something for everybody to put their signature on the 10th? 11th? 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Sure.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay.
Also, nicely done with, the whole thing about working through the state having superseding orders or not, and how to, laying that all out for all parties in the audience. That was nice.
Well, I mean, and that's something that Bill, I remember, would say in the beginning when I first started on the commission, but it's like, people don't necessarily want us to be cut out of the process.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, but making sure everyone's aware to the greatest extent possible was good.
It's laying out the consequences of
Well, but that was at least what's going on in my head.
everything.
So,
All right.
all right.
So then, the only thing left to discuss that isn't on the agenda, Ice House Dam submitted a request for their order of conditions to be extended. And this is from Lisa with 2 eyes, who's in charge over there. And she was saying that the town of Littleton and the town of Ayer had a joint...
Shirley.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Other side of town. Had a joint meeting to determine that because there's going to be ongoing work at the dam, and because they wanted to be kept in the loop, that they would have a perpetual order, open order of conditions, so that there's no chance of anything slipping by anybody. And that was the way they decided to move forward with staying informed, which I find confusing, because the point of an order of conditions is to issue a certificate of compliance, I thought. And there are plenty of orders that are, perpetual, that will extend beyond the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Or plenty of special conditions that are perpetual. Or,
Well, yeah, I mean, however you phrase it, you can have conditions in place that just because a COC is signed doesn't mean that they still wouldn't, say, tell us when they were going to do things.
Yeah.
So, would you guys want to revisit that? Or would you like to just keep signing, an extension to the order every 3 or 4 years?
I think we need to understand what the order was issued for. So, for example, something like we have an order of conditions for drawdown of the ponds.
Yeah.
The point of that is not to have a certificate of compliance. The point of that is to allow the town every year, for as long as the town wants to continue manipulating the pond water levels, to do that, and to have it in place such that it's done legally under the state regulations.
So,
I'm guessing, and this is goes back a number of years, but I'm pretty sure that what's going on at Ice House Dam is similar in that it's meant to be a recurring thing. They operate part of their operation is in the river, which is why they need the order of conditions. But I don't think the intent is to, at some point, say, "Oh, we're done."
Yeah.
I think their intent is to be able to keep doing what they do.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. But
Yeah.
we can't issue a lifetime order of conditions. Our orders of conditions under the state law are good for 3 years, and that's why they need to then be extended.
Right.
Each, you know.
But doesn't it seem, so, I mean, the thing that I'm hung up on that is just confusing. You know, like, for instance, we were talking about the road salt and the herbicides, and, you know, that's work that the condo association will do for the full existence of the condo association.
Right.
And they have to do it in a certain manner based on the order of
Mhm.
conditions, survive that, you know, order 53
Yeah,
or whatever.
But that's not really, in the case of riverfront area, they're in a resource area, but, you know, for all other orders of conditions where we have that condition for the buffer zone, they're not working in a resource area. The dam.
They would be working in the
and
resource area.
lowering, you know, the ponds, you're physically manipulating the resource. And that's why you need to have a permit in place.
Yeah.
So then theoretically, if you issued the certificate of compliance, then next year rolls around, they want to lower the water again, it's work. And so because it's not, in a manner of speaking, it's not a maintenance issue, it's a new work that they would otherwise have to run through the NOI process again.
Well, yeah, so if there wasn't an order of conditions for the fire department, whoever actually pulls out the board, if they did that without the permit, you know, that's a violation. We would have to issue an enforcement order. You know, it would be a big mess. The purpose of having the order of conditions and continuing to renew it is to allow that process to happen every spring and fall.
Yeah.
They put on the board, you know.
And you mentioned that to me the other day. Yeah, and as I'm thinking, listening, it's like, yeah, we do want to keep in the loop on every year, whatever they do at Ice House Dam. It seems to me that you add in a disincentive for notification if you start adding in the costs of every time they want to do something and an order expires, they have to do a whole new notice of intent.
Right, and that's sort of the thing I'm wondering if, because, you know, salting and herbicide isn't considered quote unquote work, but raising and lowering the water level would be, you know, considered earth moving, and that would be work.
That's direct alteration of the resource.
Yeah, so then you can't perpetual order an alteration of a resource, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, but you do the extension then, right?
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, just related to that, on the raising and lowering of Sandy Pond, we didn't take out the boards this fall.
Right.
Just to see, because nobody really noticed any impact on weed inhibition. However, I do have to say the water level, even though we haven't gotten too much precipitation this winter, the water level is pretty high. And I think it's a combination of when we didn't remove the boards.
What?
And
Why weren't the boards removed?
Because it was low to begin with, wasn't it?
Well, it was low.
Who makes
for a
that
while.
call?
Bill
We did.
We at one of our meetings.
You were there.
Well, no, we don't. But we don't. No, we don't. We don't physically.
No,
We don't do it.
I ask the fire department to do it, and here we decided not to have me ask that.
Okay.
Or actually, I think you were told to ask the fire department if they had any objections to not doing it, or if they saw any.
Right, and they said we don't care.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
However, I think because we put in the beaver deceiver at Long Pond Dam, the water is continuing to flow through at a nice merry pace. So previous winters, you know, the beavers would have that pretty well dammed up. No water would be coming through. And and taking out the boards, you know, the pond got lower. This year, we didn't take out the boards and that water's flowing through, so I think it has kept the water level on, you know, on the higher end. So that might be something for us to rethink about next year, whether we want to.
But it would be a different discussion than vegetation management.
Right.
Yeah.
But at any rate.
Okay.
So Ice House Dam, I'd say, bring in the order extension.
Yeah.
We just
So then is that something that needs to be put on
well, bring in the. Make sure you have a copy of the.
Make sure I have the key to the office.
Well, yeah. So again, because this goes back a number of years, and we have, newer members, and then
Well, I was
I don't
reading-
remember the specifics of it.
I read
anymore,
through a
you know.
lot of the file. I recycled a lot of the file in duplicate and triplicate, but and I didn't see anything in there written in saying that these orders will be kept open perpetually. That was something that in the email exchange with Lisa, she was like, "Oh yeah, that's how they decided."
Sure.
to do
Yeah.
this."
I mean, you can't really. There's no real mechanism for saying that
Well, and because
meaningfully in the order. I mean, the order has a 3-year lifespan, so
right,
you can't
and
really
your
say
comment about
it's a
what's
3-year
work.
permit, but it's really a forever permit. It is a 3-year permit, but yeah. Again, I mean, we just need to be clear about what the purpose of the order is.
Right.
And if it is to allow them to continue to operate the dam as part of what they do there,
Right.
For the duration of however long they plan on being there,
Right.
then, unless something changes with their operation or, with a regulation that then is in conflict with what's written into the Order of Conditions Act, I think we should probably consider just extending it as we've done.
So then would that go on the
Yeah.
agenda?
Yeah.
It would be a discussion.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be on the agenda because we will likely vote on it. We'll definitely discuss it and we'll likely vote on issuing the extension. So you definitely want to have it on the agenda. But it's not a public hearing. It's not a public
Discussion.
meeting. It's just a discussion.
Can you vote on a discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she asked that question of me on Tuesday afternoon after I posted this one.
Right.
So just want to make sure we do that right. Because we know I'm not that good at this part. Yeah, that's about it. I don't have any updates on anything else because I only just caught up with the last meeting.
It was a fun meeting. I think we're done before 10 today.
Oh, I have a couple things.
Member
Yeah.
updates?
Oh,
Bonnie?
Yeah, a couple, oh, sorry, we can,
No, go ahead.
I always
Brian?
cut in, I'm sorry.
No.
No,
I cut in.
I'm the chair and I'm saying.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get to do this very often, so.
So I sent a letter to Neshoba Analytical, or an email actually, requesting a quote for some water quality testing. I think I sent it to you,
Mm-hmm.
CC'd you, but I haven't gotten anything back.
For me?
No, from Neshoba Analytical.
Oh, okay. Because I
Kind of
think you were
expected-
asking for anything from me.
And I'm wondering, did it go to you? And I
I
didn't
saw
get.
lots of addresses on there, so.
Okay, so I'm like wondering.
Try again.
So maybe
It's probably just
I'll
lost in their
just
email
call
chain.
them and
Yeah.
ask. Okay, so
Knock on the
that,
door.
yeah, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. And then Mark invited me in to do a tour of the DPW, and because I relayed to him that we want to do some water quality testing, and didn't get into major discussion, but it seemed to me that he has some equipment. He can do some things. I don't know how much he can do, but maybe we piggyback on what he can do.
Right. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, to save some money maybe.
Yeah.
Well, and, part of having the Nashville people in here
Yeah.
and that 5-star grant, and,
Yeah.
it's really, I think there's a lot of room there for
Yeah.
brainstorming.
They're not Nashua River though, they're Merrimack River.
Carolee is Merrimack, but Mark Archambault.
Mark was
is-
Nashua,
yeah, is
okay,
Nashua River,
got it.
yeah.
Mark is national.
Yeah.
So the question is, does anyone want to go in with me? Like if I will be early on some weekday morning, like say 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
You can let me know, I won't promise for sure, but
Okay.
I'd like to
Do you
say,
wanna go too?
I'd like to. That time of day, I'm unreliable until about 9.
okay. That would be a better time for me too.
Okay, like 9-ish?
For those of us who have to walk the dog, et cetera, first.
All right. We can take another morning off, maybe in a couple weeks.
Sure.
Like second week of February, third week
Sure.
of
If you
February,
do,
mid-February.
if you do after 9 and it's a Tuesday or Wednesday,
Okay.
I don't really have any excuse.
All right.
That's right.
All right. All right, that'll be good. And then we can find out about the vote.
Curious about that, yeah.
I'm gonna write myself right now to have that ready for you tomorrow.
I would actually try and do it after our next meeting,
After.
because ideally we'll have gone through what our final requests of geosyntax.
That's a good idea.
Mm.
Yeah. So if we could just arrange, a date for after.
Yeah.
Let's get it on the calendar.
Right.
Okay. All right. To the 11th.
We have 2 sets of minutes. Do you want to do them now or wait till?
Those were huge. That last set of minutes you sent out?
It was a huge meeting.
That was huge. It was like 15 pages. I'm exaggerating, but felt that way.
I'm inclined to
It
wait.
was a long meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
A long agenda.
If we don't stop soon, this is going to be
Almost set.
another.
Okay.
Yep.
If we don't stop soon, we're going to have another long set of minutes.
Member updates, Jess, something?
Nothing here.
I don't really have any updates, just a reminder of the
Oh.
NACC conference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On March
It's
5th.
March 5th.
There's a land conservation conference I didn't bring the thing. Brian, did you get in the mail a flyer announcing the Massachusetts Land Conservation? I forget the exact. It's a land conservation conference. It's geared towards conservation commissions, land trusts, that kind of thing.
Strangely enough, no. When did you get yours?
They came in the mail this week.
I haven't gotten an email this week.
Okay.
But then again, I was in a one. Maybe I got it today.
Mercury is in retrograde.
Hey,
So it was a mail,
I'm starting
not
to
an
feel
email.
victimized by Greek gods here.
Actually, I don't know if it is.
No, Roman gods. Roman
I'm
gods.
just using a phrase. It's Mercury.
In my backpack. So there's
Did it look good?
Yeah, that's I think it. So the MACC is always very good.
Right.
This
Uh-huh.
land conservation conference, I think, would be very good as well.
Okay.
I think I went to one a long time ago. I think
Nope.
my wife went to one last year. It was good. It's
Do you recall where it was?
Worcester,
Or where it is
Worcester,
now?
Worcester
Worcester? That's all.
Technical High School, or
This is different from the MACC
Yeah.
conference?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's later, like later in March or in April. I forget
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
But it was just announced. And then also, I think in April is the annual Keystone training. Brian, I let you know about that, but I did that last year. And I think I let Brian know about it because I think and he's obviously our new administrator. I think he would very much benefit from it. But you and
What
Jess
is
would
it?
also.
Keystone?
It's geared towards people who are in positions of influence in their communities, like Conservation Commission members or administrators, agents, who have land management, land protection as part of their duties.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the focus of the Keystone training is protecting land, managing it, with an emphasis on sustainable forestry, invasive species management, that kind of thing. Working with landowners to educate them as to what they can do with their land. There's not that much land left in Ayer, but there's some, and I think
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
people in positions in town who are well versed in
Right.
all the different mechanisms for land protection and that
Right,
sort of
right.
thing, I think is important. So,
Okay. Okay.
I emailed the information to Brian, but if you want to forward it to others, it might be worthwhile. but I definitely think Brian should apply.
For the Keystone or the
Yeah,
other?
for the Keystone.
And what was the other one? Conservation Land Use Management?
Conservation Land Conference, Land Conservation Conference, I will find the, I didn't get an email, I got a, a
Yeah.
mailing, so I'll find it and
Okay.
try to get a copy to Brian at least. That's it.
Is everyone going to the MACC conference?
Yeah, plan to.
Yeah, I haven't
So-
registered yet, but I plan.
Yeah, so there's there's 3 workshops. And, you can kind of you scroll down, you just choose which one you want to go to, right?
Mhm.
Should we divide and conquer and go to different ones?
Oh,
Woo.
thinking ahead, look at this.
This is what we do at work, okay? We have to divide and conquer. I go to one, you go to another one, and then we all get back together and we share our notes, present to everybody, and
I haven't looked at the program yet, so.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I looked at,
And sometimes you can go to one and then slip out and go to another.
Yeah, if you
If it's
kind
not-
of think
Yeah.
it's a little too, yeah.
the presenters are worth more than the topics.
Yeah,
Generally.
yeah. Okay.
But I saw one that I already told Jess she ought to go to, the one that Kathy Sparrow is leading. She is the agent administrator in Stowe. And she came out of Mass Audubon. And before that, she was in the Southeast, Plymouth Land Trust or something. And she seems to really have her act together.
What's her name again?
Sferra, Kathy. And her presentation was on goal setting.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And that looked really good.
I saw that, yeah.
What does the
Yeah.
what does the Concom intend to do this year? And have a quarterly update or a half year midpoint review and say, we wanted to accomplish something.
Mhm.
What did we or didn't we not?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to being a purely reactive body where you get things brought to you and you deal with them, as opposed to go forward over the hill, go do something.
I think you have to do both.
Well,
You have to figure out how to
but
do
doing
both.
both is the hard part.
Yeah.
Because
Well.
the law and the process is really designed, it feels like, and it looks like, and it seems to be something that you're supposed to be a regulatory roadblock, not necessarily a forward-thinking, adaptive, strategic creature.
By the way, Mercury is no longer in retrograde.
As of 10 minutes ago, am I in the clear?
January 25th.
So your luck is turning?
No,
Hope so.
maybe you did better when it was in retrograde. Maybe I had a better life when
All I know is I need to go to bed so the day can end.
Motion to adjourn?
Anybody?
Oh, you have to ask for the motion to adjourn.
No,
You have to.
Oh, motion to
You can
adjourn.
And then
JG.
You can second.
second that?
All in favor?
Yeah, second that.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Good job.
Yeah, aye.